Jamaicans, y'all got your own culture. Let's get Badmon.
Tariq, what's going on?
What's up, Badmon? How are you?
Well, how are you doing?
I'm chilling like a villain. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I've been following you for a bit, and I'm curious, bro. Like this whole FBA thing. What is it all about?
Okay, well, when you ask that question, that means you are not FBA. So where's your family from, first of all? Where's your people from?
They're from the Caribbean. I'm from Brooklyn.
Okay. The Jamaica or
Jamaican and Trinity.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, you know what it is. You know, foundational Black American. We are not immigrants. That's what a foundational Black American is. That's a Black person who is a non-immigrant and who has a non-immigrant background or has family members who are non-immigrants. It's that simple. And you know that. You know what a foundational Black American is, Batman.
Yeah, so honestly, I literally just found out about FBAs about maybe 2 months ago.
Okay.
And that was because I was being insulted by an FBA for like no reason. I went into a room and it was just like, why are Caribbeans disgusting and nasty? Yeah. So my question is,
But
go ahead.
that wasn't cool. Yeah, that wasn't nice, but go ahead.
So Tariq, what you're doing is pretty dope, you know, bringing Black people together, fighting for reparations and all of that. I look at it as like a modern day Malcolm X.
They all start to,
you know, that's what I look at you like, you know,
to throw shade
something similar.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put you on that type of caliber, but you know, I feel like you're like on that level because you gathered a lot of Black people together and start a powerful movement. And this FBA thing is super powerful right now. I looked it up on ChatGPT, and you're the head and founder of it.
Well, I just came up with the name and with the help of Dr. Claude Anderson, but I'm not really the founder of a lineage because when you talk about FBA, all I'm doing is talking about our lineage. So I'm not the head of anything. I'm just a regular foundational Black American like all these other brothers and sisters. But I understand.
That's right.
You know what some of the AI prompts will say. So
my thing is, Mr. Tariq, is that what you're doing, like I said, I respect it, but then again, it's sort of like you're segregating other, you call us tethers.
Told you.
no, I don't. No, stop. No. No, you're not a tether because you're an immigrant. No. Because you're an immigrant. The tether is somebody who's doing something. A tether is a name that we put on things that's action based. That's a person who's trying to undermine us in some way. Somebody who's trying to undermine, denigrate, or sabotage us. That's tether. But you just being a non-FBA, you're not a tether because of that. But go ahead.
All right, yeah, I'm glad you cleared that up, you know, because it's a lot of FBAs out here calling me a tether because I come from a Caribbean background and I'm first generation American.
Are they calling you a tether because of that, or are you saying some shit in these rooms that's making folks say, hey, wait a minute, are you doing something that's funny style that people will take a certain way? Let's be honest.
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's been a lot of, I'm not in the rooms, but there's a lot of confliction between me and a bunch of FBAs.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it ain't tricking if you got it. It ain't tricking if you got it. There it is. African Pride, hop on.
Yo, Tariq.
What's going on, Mr. Pride?
Not much. So, a tether is
Go ahead.
an immigrant who undermines FBA, right?
Yes, like yourself.
Nah, not really.
Yeah,
but
you're a tether.
So do you take back when you called Burna Boy a musty tether?
No, because he was kind of saying some little slick stuff like a tether.
He didn't say nothing crazy. I mean,
well, no, he kind of did some little slick stuff about our culture as he cosplays as us. You know what I'm saying? So he kind of said some little slick stuff, and
he said that FBAs lack knowledge of self, something that Black activists been echoing for years.
Yeah, but
that's like it's not out of pocket.
But damn it, you can't sit up and talk about we lack knowledge of self, and you up here trying to cosplay as us, sampling our music and trying to look like us. You're not looking like a Nigerian artist. You look like a foundational Black American. So don't sit here saying that. You sound like a.
So that make him a musty tether?
Yeah, that's musty tether talk. Now I don't know if he is a tether or not, but that's musty tether talk, and I like his music. I like some of his music. But you're not going to sit here and wag your finger talking about we don't have knowledge of self and all of that when you're sitting over there, the majority getting smacked around by the white minority and Asian minority over there. Come on now. Right?
Okay. How about this though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of gatekeeping, why not just get rid of Black?
Get rid of Black?
This like some
get rid of it like locally and legally.
What sense does that make? What do you mean?
Like you know how the United States tried to call Asians yellow, like in the mid 20th century, and they just didn't participate in it, and it just went away.
Okay.
Kind of like the same thing. Just stop, get rid of Black, and you know what I mean, and just identify as a foundational Black American. That way you don't have to gatekeep anything.
That don't really make no sense, and we already identify as foundational Black Americans and not African Americans. And if you want to go there, talking about what the white man gave, the white woman gave your country the name Nigeria. Why don't you change your name of your country?
Right.
I'm not Nigerian, but
right. Okay,
wait, all that was
lineages over there. You're a continental African, and you're speaking of for Burna Boy and all of that. So you have somewhat of a camaraderie with other continental Africans. So why don't they change the name of the country over there? Huh?
I don't know. But you don't think that's a good move to get rid of Black?
No.
I mean,
no, and
everybody identifies as Black. I mean, the immigrants who identify as Black, as long as you identify as FBA, you won't be caught up in that in that group. Or
What do you identify as?
me, African.
I mean,
Watch
now
this. Watch
Africa's
this,
pretty
family.
damn big. When you're in Africa, you identify as African. What do you identify as over there?
Hey, I don't want to be me put in a box. I'm just African.
No,
You know what I mean?
y'all know, because y'all got a gazillion tribes over there. So, yeah, you're not even being honest about that. You don't have African pride. This is what I'm saying. Change your name from African pride because you're too ashamed to even say what you call yourself over there. You're being vague. You have no African pride. See, I got FBA pride. I ain't got.
No, I don't want to. I don't put myself in a box because I've gone through a lot of.
Box your ass out of here. I don't want to hear all that
Box
shame
yourself out of
tether
here.
talk.
Hey, yo, why do they
You can't
be
even name
afraid
what
to
tribe you call
pinpoint
yourself over there.
what
You know you
country
do.
they come
You don't
from?
call
They be
yourself
so
African.
ashamed
Well,
of
African
their
pride. You ain't
homeland.
got no
Like,
damn
I
pride.
understand your
We
homeland
got
might be going
FBA
through
pride. See,
turmoil,
we
maybe
stand
not.
on our lineage.
But
We ain't got no
B,
problem.
yeah, stand on it, man. You know,
We'll tell you where our families are
damn.
from.
But they'll wear,
Alabama,
but
North
they'll wear the
Carolina.
clothing and flags all day long.
You know what I'm saying? We're foundational Black Americans. We ain't no shame in that. We stand on that.
2420. I can't see. Carlos
Yeah,
B.
miss me with all that nonsense, dude. Let me get our brother Eric Johnson in the building. Let's get EJ in here. What's up, brother EJ?
But at the same time, you have to respect your roots, and your roots, for the most part, came from Africa, right?
Here they go.
Everybody's
Tether.
roots came from Africa.
Everybody's roots came from Africa. If you want to go back to Pangea,
Tether Babel.
where we're talking about
Tether
slavery
logic.
days, right? That triangle trade from the Caribbeans
Oh,
to
it's a
America,
triangle trade now? I
right?
thought it was they
But
kidnapped.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Only about 5 or 6%, or even less, came to North America. Most of the people who were brought from Africa went either to the Caribbean or South America. Only a very small percentage of Africans were brought to the continental United States. There were a lot of Black Aboriginals here, and we were mixed in with some of the African brothers and sisters. So we do have African DNA and lineage, but we also had what's called an ethnogenesis. We became a whole new ethnic group based on the circumstances, geography, and by virtue of us having to create a whole different culture. Like you and your family, you don't call yourself African Jamaican. You are Jamaican. You guys had an ethnogenesis in Jamaica. So your group based on the circumstances, geography, and by virtue of us having to create a whole different culture. Like you and your family, you don't call yourself African Jamaican. You are Jamaican. You guys had an ethnogenesis in Jamaica. So your culture is different from the culture in Africa. The way you guys prepare your food, the way you dance, the slang, the accent that you have, it's a little different. There's still remnants of some Africanness there, but generally the Jamaicans, y'all got your own culture. You got a Jamaican culture, the food, things like that, the certain dances, reggae, things like that, which is good. That's not a problem. We too have the same thing. We had an ethnogenesis. We became foundational Black Americans. We are different.
It's that simple. Ethnogenesis. I'm over here just researching real quick because I'm about to debunk some BS that they've been there. Any truth that please explain. All right. So let me first do this. Hope I don't get flagged. All right, let's do this first. Okay, so this woman was allegedly flagged for trying to cash a forged, tampered, altered check. Right. Look, listen to her response. So this channel is from True Science. He's very good at highlighting like the Morris science doctrine that believes you can travel without a driver's license. All right. So you got a lot of these funny clips. Sometimes I used to do a lot of reviews and reactions. I might go back to it, but this right here was just embarrassing. Watch this.
Heard this come out here.
These are cops, right? So they say, hey, she's in there. Watch this. So I'm gonna go back to the top.
You know why I can't use
I
my
need the reason.
I'm sorry?
Can you tell me the reason, please?
I already told you the reason.
Can you repeat the reason for me?
Where's the money order?
Give me the reason.
Okay, man,
Why
we're
she's
gonna.
not giving me a reason?
Well, the money order's not. It's counterfeit allegedly,
No,
or
it's
it's been
not.
altered.
She said, no, it's not.
No.
No, watch this. Yo, we got to get out of stupidity. Listen to her. Listen to her words. Listen to her only.
I think she doesn't know you.
It's
Okay, she said, I listen to what she said. She said, I don't think the clerk understands UCC code. Now, this is that fake Moorish doctrine they stole from white racist people. Okay, the sovereign citizens. That movement started with white racists first. That's documented. We picked up on it 30 to 40 years later, and it could have been introduced to us by Tethers, as far as I'm concerned, because that's pretty much down their alley. But she's gonna say it again. She's gonna say UCC codes.
This is 55.
Yes. But she's trying to cash it for $843.
She don't know
Well,
the
how do you cash it for 843 when it says 55?
Because you don't understand UCC code. You just could put any dollar amount there and just cash.
I can't do that.
You don't know the UCC codes?
Ma'am,
Oh, she sound like she's from the islands. Okay, so that's just more stupidity. So not to pick on the older dude, the elder, he's an older dude. Yesterday that everybody like to highlight, but this is what he's into. You dig, the elder Baba. Right. So I just want to put that out there real quick. It's a real quick video. And now let's go here real quick. We're gonna go back to Tether. Let's go here real quick.
Hey,
All right, I'm gonna get deep out of here. Bushmeat Barrister, what's going on, man?
I just want you to enlighten me because Euthanos did bring up something that bring up a great point. It seems like you always try to deflect or, make it seem like Black people in America have no issues. Like they're kind of
Okay, now who the hell said that? Okay, again, what is he talking about? Now, mind you, this is a Tether, but we're constantly told that we borrow talking points from the conservatives, the right wing, white supremacists. And then when you say, okay, can you quote a talking point from us that we borrow from the white supremacists? Because it has to be their talking points. I mean, it's documented, right? Now he's going to say something that white supremacists say. Watch this.
like devoid of accountability. So,
We
I mean,
we are from you. We are. And
okay, all right.
culture
Can you just explain this though?
from a failed culture gonna say shit about a foundational Black American. We are devoid of accountability from you and a Colombian.
Watch this.
Yes, we are.
Okay, all right. Can you
Can I do what? Unmute your microphone,
Listen real
Bushmeat.
closely.
All right, can you explain? I just read something that 85% of Black youth cannot read at grade level. 85% of Black.
Okay, you see that? So whether it's true or not, it wouldn't matter because we know that we always been and still are being undermined, sabotaged, deprived by systemic racism. Okay. So if somebody bring up a negative stat with, let's say, crime, violent crime, drug selling, look at you guys. You guys are mass incarcerated because of drugs and crime and guns, Chicago. But there's a paper trail that explains how we ended up 85% illiterate or not up to grade level, why we're not homeowners, why we have bad credit, why we deal with truancy, recidivism, why we deal with all the stuff. Like there's a paper trail, clear cut receipt to explain why we are not doing great in America. There's been a conservative effort. Again, it's so colorful. It's not even black and white, so colorful. Paper trail, why we are behind. It's just the receipt is there. The hidden hand is not hidden. But so he is coming from the playbook of white supremacists. White supremacists are the ones who deprive us from these civil rights, these privilege, these assistances, right, or these ways to get ahead. They'll deprive us from that and see us not do good in that area, and then show a stat that we're not doing good in that area, and then they'll publish it, and then bring it up on Tariq Nasheed and argue, "Hey, look, you guys not doing good." It'd be the very banks who sabotaged us, redlined us, discriminated, the same folks. So this is a talking point. This is an official talking point for white supremacists. Now, they can't ever quote us using talking points from white supremacy. I would love just to hear it. But this is clearly the case. Now, why? But listen, he's going to do worse. He's going to do a Jared Taylor. Watch this.
Black American children cannot read at grade level. How is that the fault
That
of
ain't true.
racism? Yes, it's true. Right now, at
So
80.
you heard that? He said, how's that the fault of racism? What do you mean by systemic racism? It's the fault because systemic racism, if you know what that means, which he doesn't. Now, if Tariq Nasheed would have asked him like I do, hey, what is systemic racism? He couldn't even answer. Systemic racism is a system that's racist that you uphold, or you give an advantage to one race by giving a disadvantage to the other race. Like that is like the simplistic definition you can give to it. It has to happen at the same time. It's the same time. So at one time, at the same time, you're giving one group an unfair advantage that they're not owed it, and you're giving another group a disadvantage that's unfair and is just mistreating them. Okay, that is systemic racism. So if we're screwed up in the area and it's like a large number like that, or even like with hospital things where we're dying from something, or like, yeah, that there's some smoke there, and where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's the receipts. I got hella videos explaining how we end up with all this stuff. I even got a dope video explaining like single parenthood, because that's another talking point from white supremacists. Hey, ain't no fathers in the house, no fathers. Okay, well, check my video out. My video will show you why there are no fathers in the house. And there's never been fathers in the house thanks to white supremacists. They always made that they went out their way, different devices, different methods, different strategies to make sure that father is not in that home. I got a video. Check it out. Short too, like 3, 4, 5 minutes.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I have the stats. I have it right here. 85% of black children cannot read at grade level. They are reading at like 8th graders. They are reading at a 4th grade level. So what is the problem? It's not white people. Why can't black
you heard that? So now here's my issue. How do you just suspend white people from being at fault? Like what research? So you read a stat. The stat said what you said. It might be true, it might be false. You can't trust these right wing published stats. They got to be fact checked. Damn, my fault. I hate. I'm going to show you exactly how to stop a real dog bite in 3. I hate this mouse I got. This seconds or less guaranteed. Whether it's a rabid loose dog attacking your dog, and I stay hitting. There's a button on the side of it.
Nice.
When you hit that button, it goes back to the last thing you watch, or to something else. I don't know. But now I gotta find out where I was. I hate this damn mouse. I want a regular mouse.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Okay,
yeah, he's at grade level. How is that the fault?
Okay, so when you just acquit white people, white supremacy, systemic racism from being the hand behind any of our failures, like I'm sure, there's some failures they're probably not involved in. But how do you exempt them? How do you eliminate them? What research can you say, hey, white folks had no? Now we know black schools are underdeveloped, defunded, underfunded, defunded, disregarded, left to do whatever it's going to do. We know this, and we know that a lot of schools are built up from property taxes. Now watch this. But black folks we don't pay property taxes because we get denied loans to buy property, to buy a house. So when they make a dumb point, we got to do so much peeling back to show you the root cause that they'll flee by then. That's in their DNA to flee. But forget about them. It's for you guys. So these talking points they do, they don't really work in like a scholarly environment, not on my show, because I did extensive research on systemic racism all the way back to all the way back to about after, well, Jim Crow, right? Because you had slavery. So right after 1868, I've been tracking systemic racism from there. You dig? But I can go as early as 1862, the Homestead Act.
That ain't true.
Racism. Yes, it's true. Right now, 85.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so remember, he said it has nothing to do with racism. So the school to prison pipeline is false. Again, I got a video on that. Check that out. I got a video debunking Larry Elder and Thomas Sowell talking points together. So go look up that video. And all of what they're saying, like they just repeat stuff. But all my videos cover all of this. Is why I cook all of them. It don't matter which one call in. I can cook an Afrocentric person. I can cook on the fly. They could call in right now. I could cook a black conservative, white white racist. I could cook a tether. Because once you do enough research, they don't. Their wittiness just isn't there. They just repeat the same talking points from Jared Taylor, Charles Murray, Thomas Sowell. That's about it. Like that's like the three-headed guy: Jared Taylor, Charles Murray, and like Thomas Sowell. That's all. You study their arguments and you can beat all of them.
Yeah, I have the stats. I have it right here. 85% of black children cannot read at grade level. They are reading at like 8th graders. They are reading at a 4th grade level. So what is the problem? It's not white people. Why can't black?
You lying is the problem.
Okay, so Kamala Harris did a great lecture one time. She was talking about truancy, and I showed it on my channel. I'll show it again another time. But she did a good job addressing recidivism and truancy. All right. So yeah, just off that, like we see that we are being kicked out of school for the same offense a white person has done, but they're giving a parent-teacher conference to resolve like the bad behavior. But the same bad behavior that we do in the school, we're thrown out or a severe punishment. And when you get, so here's the problem. When you get suspended from school even one time, that increases, Kamala got all the answers, all the stats, I should say. When you, and she got it from obviously a national database, but I'm not a Kamala fan at all, but she ain't always wrong. Shit, there's some Republicans that ain't always wrong. But if you suspend it one time from grade school, that increases your chances to drop out like some ridiculous significant number, right? And 2 times is worse, and 3 times, and like 5 times you pretty much gonna drop out for sure. So that's what's going on. So if you're kicking kids out of school or punishing them, and they're not in class, they're home all the time, they won't be a great reader, my boy. And this is a national problem with that
most of the children in your homeland don't even have a
Sounds
school to go to.
Very.
So you're not even at 80% illiteracy or grade. Y'all don't even have.
And then that's the other thing. It's like listen, here's the fact. We are more literate than all those black countries, every last one of them, the islands, all of them. So whatever we're dealing with, the IQ test, do the IQ test too. Listen, Nigeria illiteracy is like, well, first of all, the IQ is like 50, something ridiculous. And their literacy, like they don't even have like school ain't even a necessary thing in Nigeria. Like that's not afforded to every kid like it is over here. So if we're 85% below grade level, what percentage are you guys at as a whole? Like there's not even a percentage. They don't even waste their time doing stats on y'all. Yo, the nerve of these tethers.
So that ain't true.
There's a guy named King Randall.
Oh, I know who.
He's Terry Gaines.
Who he is?
Yeah, he's very inspirational. And he specifically stated that one of his biggest, like he was just shocked that most of the
King Randall. So that's a name I never heard before. And I usually get these names.
King Randall.
Okay. I know.
What's he say? Well, is it a girl or a guy? I can't even figure his personality.
So that ain't true.
There's a guy named King Randall.
Okay.
I know.
So now I'm gonna YouTube him after this one, so I could cook him too. So I love to hear their leaders, so I could just debunk their talking points in advance. 'Cause as you can see, my method is correct. All you do is find their leader. Don't worry about these small tethers. Find their leader, and then study their arguments, debunk them, and you'll debunk all their followers. That's all I do. I just find where they get their talking points from, debunk that person, and I just debunk them all.
Oh, yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, he's a
King
great.
Randall.
Yeah, he's very inspirational, and he
Inspirational.
specifically stated that one of his biggest, like he was just shocked that most of the young boys that came to him, they just couldn't read.
King
They
Randall.
so
I know who King Randall is. King Randall makes money manipulating money out of white
Maneuver
people
piece.
by spewing those goofy black degeneracy tropes. And he says, "Oh, black kids can't read. Y'all white folks donate some money to me." So yeah, he's hustling white people. So I pop my collar to him. I don't even knock the hustle. He says that to get money out of white people.
Yeah, a lot of the
Because
stats be
white people
garbage.
like
Like
that. They
Larry
love
Elder, Thomas
a
Sowell, their stats be
downtrodden
garbage,
Negro
dude.
story.
The white folks
So
be
yeah, he
buying. They'll
manipulates
buy it
that. That's all that is. Black kids can read.
because
Are you
they'll say, "Hey,
no, but they
he's a
cannot
Harvard
read
lawyer
as
graduate.
effectively
He's an
compared to
economist. They
white
can't be
people.
wrong."
So what's the problem?
read enough? They read better than you in your failed homeland.
No, no,
Oh,
they
So
have
again, like this little sassy tether is really. And now you call this, so that's not white supremacy. That's not an agent of white supremacy. Like, come on, man. Like, we don't talk like that.
low literacy
oh yes.
rates.
We don't go and see how South white South Africans. We don't go and see how they're mistreating the black South Africans blatantly, and then act like they're not doing what they're doing because of that oppression. We don't do that.
They can read better.
Like Tariq, I mean, you are very well spoken and articulate
Yeah.
compared
All
to.
right. So, all right. When we hell that. Okay. So now let's go to King Randall. I think that's what he said. Ain't what he said? Okay, Randall. It looks like black conservative. Oh my God. Yo, I struggle to decide who is worse to debate uh, between a black conservative and a tether. It's like really, really hard to pick. But I'm gonna have to go with black conservatives are probably the worst because when I debated, he said, "Hey man, you can't bring up history." I don't think tethers will go that low. The dude said, "Let's debate about what your people are facing today based on like the 2000s, basically." So I can't bring up no 1990, no 1980, no the crack era. Now I can't bring up none of that. Yeah, nah, the 2000s. So they gotta handcuff you, handicap you to win. I ain't trying to win. I'm trying to be correct. All right. So where's King? I'm seeing a dude. What's his channel? I'm seeing everybody talking about him. All right. I'll find him later. All right. So now let's get back to what a tether is.
Peppercorn was good, baby. Peppercorn head, what's up, man?
What's going on, Africa Rise?
Man, I implore everybody that's listening to go check out our video on your
Yeah,
YouTube
we know
channel,
Terry.
Tariq Radio. We
Yep.
get
Thank you
good
for that.
numbers, man.
We
You ain't
definitely
break no
looked into
bread
that.
with me. But that's the channel where I bro. That's the video where I ran through your whole crew, man. You sent about 5 people at me. I ran through them all.
Now, this dude said he ran through a whole bunch of FBAs. Y'all know I immediately was in that comment section. Like, yo, man, let me see if I can see it. Yeah, look, right here. Right here. That's my comment. African Rise, can we have a convo? Immediately. This look 6 hours ago. As soon as I heard him say that, like, or you ran through FBA. All right, well, you got to run through me. I immediately invited my boy to a conversation.
They giving me props in the comments and everything, man. So I wanna salute you for that.
There it is. There it is, man.
Yeah. I had some questions for you though,
Go
man.
ahead, Africa Rise.
All right. So one of my questions is, if a civil war broke out
Look at
would
this.
there be a distinction between FBA, Caribbeans, and Africans?
Yeah,
Like,
Okay, now here's another thing that tethers do. Like tethers don't understand who they actually are and how we see them. All right, so let's make this very clear. They always talk about if a race war broke out, will white people be able to differentiate us from them? Tethers, you are white supremacy. Like, yo, we're fighting against you and white. No, y'all gonna be in the same side. We'll be fighting against both of y'all. Tethers, you guys are white supremacy. Like, we don't see y'all any different. Yet you guys are leg, toe, eyeball, nose hair of white supremacy. I want to make that very clear. We don't see y'all any different. Y'all just black. They're white. That's it.
yeah.
would the white supremacists be like, "Oh, he's African," and then cease fire?
No, because they would get
Exactly,
the
duh.
tethers, and the tethers would be working with them against us. That's the first thing they would do. They would go look for foreheads and
Man,
hairlines,
that was funny.
get them working as their damn allies, and them niggas would be against us.
I told
So
you,
yeah,
look, Tariq just said it. Tariq said they'll know who you are by your, but he's joking. But the serious part was he said that they would look at the tethers as allies. So guys, I want y'all to when y'all come across these tethers and when they do that whole we black, if a police car, if a police car pull us over, they ain't gonna, bro, we're pulled over because of you. Nigga, you sick, you gave the signal. You're the informant of white supremacy. So family, y'all gotta remind these tethers, like, yo, you are team white supremacy. There's no distinction. You guys are not gonna delineate from white supremacy. Y'all all in this together.
that's the first because they would get the tethers, and the tethers would be working with them against us.
Told you.
That's the first thing they would do. They would go look for foreheads and hairlines, get them working as their damn allies, and them niggas would be against us. So yeah, there would definitely be a distinction.
Told you they are white
Yes.
supremacy. They are team white
Okay.
supremacy.
I also wanted to point out some of the Africans and Caribbeans that contributed to hip hop, including Nipsey Hussle, Styles P,
Oh,
Biggie.
slow down. Nipsey's mother is FBA, by the way. Y'all don't play that game. Nipsey's mother is FBA. Go ahead. Go ahead. And Biggie.
Oh, pardon,
Ice
so
Ice baby.
my mic was off.
Yeah. You said that Nipsey was African, but his mother is FBA. So
Hey, you know it's crazy? When they start to peel back the birthright citizenship from these mofos that's in this country, that their roots go to the islands or somewhere else. Watch how much they try to, yo, when you see these tethers trying to befriend us all of a sudden, just know that there's a play about to happen where their birthright citizenship is getting repealed or taken away and they are being sent back. Okay? I'm telling you, because they're gonna cry like hell for us to defend them. And we're gonna be like, yeah, hold your own nuts, man.
But he was very open about his Eritrean heritage and everything.
he
He
gave.
spoke about it openly.
Yeah, I know. I would talk to him personally about his family and the whole shebang. That was my brother, but he's the foundational Black American. His mom is
And
FBA.
this is another thing tethers do all the time. So they'll try to talk passive like him, but they would try to turn us against other black foreigners who are not tethers, who are riders. And they'll try to, position them against us. Well, how would he feel about, so don't fall for that. So don't fall for their division tactic, because they are the ones that are divisive. That's what they'll do. And you'll hear him. They're gonna say, what about Malcolm X? And so that's all they would do. They'll try to mention FBAs or half FBAs, or they'll mention uh, black immigrants who are riders, right? They'll mention them and say, what would they think to get us to turn on the riders? So just watch these tethers, man. Just keep it on the tether that you're talking to.
Hey, he grew up in FBA culture. Yeah.
Okay, what do you think he would think about this whole,
See?
you know, African, I don't want to say hatred, but
Look, he's
African
being
distinction
divisive.
and kind of like making jokes about Africa? What do you think Nick would say about, you know, that whole vibe?
Well, if people get jokes made about them when they try to come in and roast.
Right,
So
right.
if you lose a roast battle,
I
you
said
just
that
lost the
yesterday.
roast battle. So that's the problem. Y'all can't come in here trying to play the roast game with us, and we're masters at that shit. Yeah, we're gonna light you up.
I mean, what do you think Nipsey would say about the word tether though? Do
Look,
you
look,
think he
look.
would like rock with that, or
He's trying to
Don't
be
know.
divisive.
But the thing
cool with
is,
that?
yeah, the word is there. The word,
White
we got that
supremacy
from the
ain't teaching
movie
well
Us. So
Okay.
how to be a real informant.
he's not a tether. And you don't act like a tether, you won't be called a tether.
Right.
If you don't try,
All right.
Nipsey was
Yeah.
a solid brother. So Nipsey was a solid dude.
I mean, but the thing with the word tether is, can you look at a person and just be able to tell if they're tether? Like if a
No,
white person,
tether is
They always
is
act
something
like they
that
don't
you
know the
do. It's an
definition.
action. A tether is
but when you,
it's an action
but
you do.
but if a white person says the word nigga, would you say that they would be like, all right, well, this black person is a nigga, but this one isn't, or is it just offensive as an
Because what
overall term
they use
to
the
us?
word, they're like, we're victims of white supremacy. That's what the N word means. That
That's what it means to you, but I don't think when white people say the word nigga, they're like, oh, victim of white supremacy. I
what do
think
you
they're
think they mean
saying the
when they
word
say it?
nigga.
No. What do you think they mean when they say it? It only has
Tariq
one
about to
meaning.
cook him right here.
That's it.
It's
What
about
do
to
you
be
think they mean
embarrassing.
when they say it?
I think it's a derogatory term to call us ignorant, to call us
Not
He
no no
said call us.
inferior.
no. That means victim of white supremacy. Right. That's what inferior means. If you are inferior based on race,
Watch this.
there's somebody superior. And that means you're a victim of white supremacy. That's exactly what the N word means. It means victim of white supremacy. So they're reiterating that we're victims of them. It's not ignorance. That's a lie. They call babies the N word. You can't say a
Right.
baby is ignorant. You
Right.
understand?
Got
But
him.
that baby's a victim of white supremacy. They say that
So
scholars are N
Right. Scholars.
words, but he's not ignorant. He's a victim of white supremacy.
Got
All
him.
right.
so do you think there's a difference between racial epithets? You think like if there's a difference between tether and nigga?
Yeah.
I know they mean two different things, but you think like my argument is like I'm saying like a white person when they look at a black person and say that one is a nigga, but that one isn't. It's like an overall term. So when you say the word tether, I don't know if people can make the distinction between saying, all right, well,
Yeah,
this one is a
Terry, you
tether and
can't you
this one
can't
isn't,
be
because we don't walk around with signs that
Others,
say.
yeah, Terry, you can't be doing that to the FBA. You can't, we we don't do that in the chat. Um Now, listen, this goes for everybody. If everybody has an accusation about somebody else, the burden of proof is on you. Like, so we ain't trying to um do that in the chat. You dig? Now, because I heard some of the stuff, right? So just because Sabir Bey is he's FBA, as far as I know. He's FBA. He's not a non-FBA person. He's FBA. Yeah. So some FBAs, you dig? Again, listen, we're 43 million deep. We're Hebrew Israelites, we're Moors, we're Christians, we're atheists, we're Democrats, we're Republicans, we're liberals, conservatives, we're coons, we're riders, we're Pan-Africanists, we are pan FBAists. So you dig? Now, if somebody says something that's opposite, like it got to be something clear, like something against FBAs. Now, screenshot that. Now, there's no way around that. Once you side against FBA ADOS, it's a wrap. Yeah, but let's tone it down. Let's focus on the video, man.
Tethers on our foreheads.
racial. Tether's not racial. It's not a racial term. It's not a racial epithet. It's more of an ethnic identifier based on an action. Just like when we call a Sambo. Yeah,
Right,
that's an action. That's somebody who's over here doing something to undermine us. That's a Sambo. Jesse Lee Peterson is a
right,
Sambo. Can't call him a tether because he's
right,
from here. He's
right. He's
one of
FBA.
ours, but he's a Sambo.
Jesse Lee.
Larry Elder is a Sambo.
Oh, Larry Elder.
He's
Oh my
not a
God.
tether. He's one of ours. Now, if Larry
Larry
Elder
Elder is way
was
worse than Jesse Lee
foreign, he
Peterson,
would
yeah.
be a tether. You understand?
And so is Thomas Sowell.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but the word tether means to latch on to something, right?
Right.
So there are a lot of African and Caribbean people to latch on to Black American culture
Mm.
that are, when you say the word tether, you could say this one isn't a tether, but and this one is a tether. But I think all Caribbean people and African people will be offended by the word tether because even though you're able to explain.
All right, so this tether is going to speak for all of Africa and all of the Caribbean. This tether. The only people who are offended by the word tether are tethers. You dig?
it here, say this one isn't a tether, but and this one is a tether. But I think all Caribbean people and African people will be offended by the word tether because even though you're able to explain it here, we don't necessarily hear the explanation. Like a white person in the trailer park might say, "Oh, when I say nigga, I mean this."
But
But to our ears, we hear something different.
and here's the problem. Y'all never
Peace.
said,
What I
hey, the
say? My screen
word
is so, it sounded so
yank and
bright.
Yankee,
FSK.
which is what the Caribbeans would say about us. Y'all never said that would be
Please,
offensive.
Blackmatic. I
Y'all
can't see the
never
name.
said,
Hold up.
hey, calling them Akatas,
Blackmatic.
that's
Let me
kind of
get my
offensive.
man
Y'all
a
never had that conversation with them,
wrench.
and they've
If
been
your
calling us that
FBA.
for
Hey,
decades. So that's the
everybody
problem.
hit the
They
like
made a
button.
damn
Thank you.
difference. They delineated from us and put us in a negative category and gave us derogatory terms. You understand? While we were helping them. That's the thing. These folks all up and down West Africa, because they like to just put it on Nigeria, which is all bullshit. All up and down West Africa, they refer to us. Many of them call us some damn Akatas. You understand? While they come over here tethering off of us. So yeah, that's a problem. And we corrected that problem. There's only so long you can just disrespect people, especially the only people who are helping you. We've not gotten no help from them, but they've gotten all the help in the world from us. We're the only people who helped Africa. Foundational Black Americans, nobody has helped Africa more than us.
Can you say that a lot, but can you be specific as to what specifically have foundational Black Americans done to help Africa? And I'm not saying there aren't things, but
Now you hear this guy. What have we done to help Africa? Yeah, our approval, our uh just us spreading sympathy and empathy over there. Apartheid, and look at right now. Look at Burkina Faso. You got all these Pan-Africanists and Afrocentrics in America who's bigging up Ibrahim Traore. So just our validations alone is enough. We done enough for Africa.
I'm just wondering, like, what specifically have foundational Black Americans done to help Africa?
Man, going back to the 1930s, and I always talk about this, when they were about to get invaded by Italy, foundational Black Americans said, no, we don't want them colonized. We started lining up around this country to volunteer to go fight over there. The U.S. government didn't even want us to fight over there, but some of us were going over there anyway. Our good brother John C. Robinson, Foundation Black American pilot, he was the precursor to the Tuskegee Airmen. That brother went over there and started showing them how to fly planes correctly so that they can fight Italy off, and he became a part of the Air Force over there. Dude, we've done so much for Africa. Dr. Ralph Bunche, he was the one, he's Foundational Black American. He was the one writing a lot of the charters and the constitutions for African decolonization. He was working with the UN to get their paperwork together to get the colonizers off of them. Dude, Kwame Nkrumah, we had him over here going to HB.
Wasn't he Trinidadian?
Who?
Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame
No,
Nkrumah.
no,
He
no.
wasn't Trinidad.
Stokely Carmichael.
Oh, okay. I'm getting that
Kwame,
mixed up.
getting them mixed up. But he was African. He was a Ghanaian president. But before he came over here. He was over here studying. Man, we dude, the apartheid movement, we were the ones instrumental in helping to get apartheid off of the people in South Africa. Some of our superstars, Stevie Wonder and people like that, very instrumental. People like Randall Robinson and lawyer Oglethorpe putting together documents and paperwork to get that apartheid system off of them. So many things, man. We've done so much as foundational Black Americans to help people in Africa. W.E.B. Du Bois, he was doing a lot of things to help out over there. Paul Robeson, he was doing a lot of things using his platform for African liberation, trying to get them colonizers off of them. It was the Black church who were funding people to come over here from Africa. I think Obama's dad was a part of that group that came over because of church groups around Black America, bringing them over. Immigration, they didn't want no Africans over here. We were the ones in the civil rights movement saying, hey, no, we're going to get them racial quotas and all that shit off of the immigration. We're going to have equality all across the board. The fact that people can even immigrate over here from Africa, that was a movement from us. So yes, it's just so much stuff that we've done to help the people over there. Even with USA for Africa, it was our foundational Black American artists, Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, who did that We Are the World. That was to raise money for them over there in Ethiopia and East Africa. So and so we've done a lot. So I'd be damned if a motherfucker come over here and call us some damn Akatas. You understand?
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree with people calling the word Akata. That's not something that I rock with. But I
Right.
do want to know.
Okay. See the difference that Tariq Nasheed made that we always make when we're called the NIGGER word. That's not bad blacks only. That's not bad FBAs or the rotten ones. That's everybody. They didn't differentiate. They call babies NIGGERs. Okay. When they, like he said, they call us Yankee. That's everybody. So like you have African terms that they call us. That means like we want to be the white man, like shit like that. So that's all of us. We don't give. There's no term that we made up that's for everybody in the diaspora and the continent, because we rock with those who rock with us, and those who try to undermine and sabotage us, we're gonna mark them. We're gonna mark them with a name, and that name right now is Tether. That's just that simple. It's not everybody. It's for those that apply, and a lot of them, it applies to a lot more than we would have ever imagined. We're still shell shocked of how many tethers there are that are black from the diaspora and continent.
How does the repetition of this subject better FBA? Like, how does
Now here you go. He want to ask, well, how do you keep talking about y'all history, and how you keep pointing out your ops and enemies further the message? This is a stupid. The United States got the Star Spangled Banner. When was that done? Well, when was that song written? You dig? That song is to remind Americans of how America came to be and the wars and the bloodshed took place for America to be America. So every country got damn their national anthem. So that's just stupid to say, hey man, let the past be the past. It's stupid. White supremacist talking point, because they all want to say, hey, slavery was old. You see? That's another white supremacist talking point. Hey, leave the past in the past.
Saying Africans and tethers and Caribbeans and tethers, how does it improve the
You said
standing
you was a
of
Yankee?
FBAs in the world?
Okay, because what
Right, Pinky.
y'all can't sit here and ignore your folks. Y'all can't sit here and act like they're not in these spaces
Right.
and coming around us doing shit
That
to
part.
undermine us. So it's gonna
And they
keep
don't
going
call them
as
out.
long as they keep trying to undermine us. As long as y'all have the Myron Gaines of the world.
I don't rep that at all. That's a whole different planet. I don't even know who that is. I know who you talking about, but that's not something that I represent at all. I don't even know him.
Yeah,
Like, that's a clown to me.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
When y'all
you
have
know,
from Africa who just make it a big point to go out of their way to denigrate us on
Don't
our
forget to
own
like the video.
homeland,
We got
yeah,
more
you
likes to
get the
go. I know I got
business.
more
When
riders.
y'all
I know I
send the
got more
Candace
riders than haters in here.
Owens, they come over here and make big dollars denigrating us. Y'all send the people
Why do
over
a
here
bee
who
always come at
created
me
the
when I ain't got
shade
the box
room and
cutter in
all
my
of that.
hand?
A lot of these little gossip sites and gossip message boards and who show all of this derogatory stuff on black culture. These are folks who do this
Hey,
shit.
I
You
can't see the name.
understand?
My
So yeah,
laptop got
we're
a huge
calling them people out. They don't
glare
do
from the
that
sun.
to their culture. They come over here and show
But
every negative aspect of our
Raquam
culture
says Black
here
America used
or
to be
our
all about
society,
Africa
because all
until
that
we
negative shit ain't really
started to
part
be
of the
around
culture.
them.
That's outliers.
Exactly.
But as long as people
Let
do
me give
that, yeah, we're
Raquam
gonna
a
call
wrench.
them out.
Hey, Raquam, just like the
Yeah,
video.
we're
all
not
right.
we're
All
not
right.
on the wrong side of
My sisters
history.
and
We're
brothers again
doing
like the
some
video.
righteous straightening. We
We're
should
doing
have
good.
been doing what we're doing a
We're getting
long
out
time
there. We're
ago.
getting new folks every
You
live.
understand? And y'all know that.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. You explained it well. You know, I ain't gonna roast you tonight. I do have one more question though.
Go ahead, brother.
Do you feel like you owe a portion of your success with Hidden Colors to Africa due to the subject matter? And do you feel like you owe a portion of your success to the Haitians for the success of 1804?
You hear this? Yeah, these dudes are crazy. So do white people owe a portion to Africa for the movie Wakanda? Like, yeah, like listen what they do to us. So if we don't ever shout out Africa or the diaspora, they'll say, "Hey, look at y'all. Y'all never." So when we do shout them out, we owe them royalty checks. They do stop.
Well, the thing is, with the
They
Hidden
scamming.
Colors, what was the name of the first Hidden Colors?
I don't know the
You don't
exact
know.
Yeah.
like subtitle of it, but
Untold History, People of Aboriginal, Moor, and African Descent. I talked about Black people globally, even the Aboriginals here. I've always been talking about Black Aboriginals and our lineage here. I've been talking about that shit from day one. All right. I talk about Black people globally, not just Africa. The Black people who are already here. I talk about the Black people who are in Asia. So I talk about
Hey,
Black
Pete, BSA
global
one. He said, "Quarter lies."
identity
Yes, sir. We
as
here.
a whole. And as far as 1804, that movie was successful because all the damn money I put in it. Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
You feel me? I didn't
What?
get no money from no Haitians. I did that.
Yeah.
You feel me? If they
I
gave
got
money, I would have popped my collar. That was, and I thought the story, the Haitian
Right, Pinky.
Revolution, was a phenomenal story to be told. And wasn't no Haitians saying
Oh,
it. They
word.
weren't
They had
doing it.
something called Wakanda.
Uh,
yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny.
you feel me? So I said, okay,
I,
I put my money together. I put a lot of money in that movie. So
Right.
yeah,
yeah, you did that.
yeah, man, my man.
Last question, brother. Like,
Yeah.
when you gonna get a bigger size prom suit?
Well, me and your mom, we're working on something. We doing me and her. We're gonna do a Peaches and Herb cover band up in Vegas. So yeah, me and her, we working on something. I'm gonna.
All right. So now they want to act like the hate is one sided through us. Like, yo, these dudes are crazy. The hate always been one sided through them. I want to know. I still want to know who the hell is King Randall. People talking about him, but you can't find this clown. King Randall gets real about. All right, I'll find out who the clown is later. I got to go through too much shit. All right, check this one out.
Speak about Africa and the Caribbean in this way, because I know you come up on the Professor James Smalls and Leonard Jeffries and these
And
powerful
listen,
black.
right? I will give props.
Now, this sounds like the tether that comes over here named Kwame. I think this is Kwame. I'm not sure, but I do know he called in one of Tariq's lives. This might be the one. Now, Kwame is like the dude is my son. Like this dude struck out so many times over here, man, trying to argue with me. Yeah, all y'all gotta do is go to my archive thing and just put Kwame in there. Kwame, and you'll see me cook this dude left and right. And then he had the audacity to call in Tariq Nasheed. This is embarrassing.
What props are due, and I will try. I will uplift where upliftment is needed. But I'll be damned if I have people come over here after we didn't help them
Right,
and then try to
maneuver.
denigrate us. We give y'all 1804 and the Hidden Colors and we try to uplift the history there.
Right.
And then y'all send us Candace Owens and Myrick Haynes. And
Right, yo. Okay, look. How about give the Haitians half of 1804 proceeds? Wait a minute. Since y'all love us so much and y'all want us to come back to Africa, where's the documentaries about us? How great we are. You know, how you guys messed up by selling us. Now, let me attack that real fast before I play this video. Okay, so there's a lie out here where Afrocentrics and tethers combined are trying to rewrite history. They're saying, listen what they're saying. The claim is Africans ain't really so Africans. The Europeans came over and they took like 80%, 90% of the Africans that was part of the transatlantic slave trade. So listen, stop. Look, many African kingdoms and elites, they all were participants in the transatlantic slave trade. Don't let these fools lie to you. They sold us as war captives, criminals, and rival ethnic group members. All right, we ain't gonna let them dudes lie. Okay, revise history. Now, they sold us for guns, alcohol, textiles, and European goods. All right. Now you want receipts. Notable kings involved: Dahomey, Oyo, Ashanti, Congo, and among many others. Okay, so of course this form of slavery was not like chattel slavery in here in America, right? But African societies had forms of slavery that didn't always involve total dehumanization, like we see over here, or lifelong bondage. But the Atlantic slave trade radically changed that. Now, what about the claim that Europeans went over to Africa and they kidnapped most of the Africans who were in the transatlantic slave trade? Okay, now let's fact check that. Now check this out. In the early 1400s, in the early 1500s, Portuguese and Spanish raiders, what they did was they often captured Africans directly along the coast. But how many? Was it millions? Well, like 10, 15, 20? All right. So these raids, now look what happened to these raids. These raids sparked violence, retaliation, and mistrust, especially in places like Senegal and Angola, right? So this model of raiding became unsustainable. So there's no way they took millions of Africans because Africans fought back and Europeans lacked inland access and immunity to African diseases. Now, what you guys don't know, you guys think Europe is the land of diseases. That's a lie. It's like, I don't know who's number one, but it's either Africa or China. And then I think Europe. So it's like Africa, China, China, Africa, then Europe. But the most diseases, they come, most of the names you know, come from Africa and China. So, which we all knew. We all knew no damn white man just going, hey, come into Africa and just no, man. They fought back and kicked their ass, and they were succumbing to all type of African diseases like rabies and all the other bat diseases. All right. Now, by the 17th century, Europeans shifted to buying enslaved people from African middlemen. You hear that? So we're not going to rewrite history. Okay? They fought back, and by the 70s, so they tried to go and kidnap and debo. They got beat up, and those African tether diseases beat them up too. So they said, all right, look, let's just negotiate a buy and sell transaction. All right. So Europeans, they still use violence and manipulation. They arm certain kingdoms to attack others and fuel conflicts for their benefit. So they caused the wars between a lot of these African folks to sell each other off to Europeans, and they armed them like they would normally do. All right. So over 12.5 million Africans were taken across the Atlantic. About 1.8 million died in transit. Some of you guys know about that. Africans weren't simply selling their own people, they were selling enemy tribes or prisoners of war in an entirely different cultural understanding of bondage. Europeans industrialized slavery into chattel slavery, where Africans were considered property, stripped of identity, and born into bondage with no chance of freedom. All right. So there you go. There you go. That's it. So the most Africans that came through the transatlantic slave trade were bought by Europeans and sold by Africans. So we're not going to try to rewrite history. You're done.
We're gonna have a problem with that.
So because you disagree with Myron Gaines and Candace Owens, you're now throwing the whole Caribbean and Africa under the
Ain't
bus.
about disagreeing with them. It's about them representing a lot of people from that culture. Because a lot of
Uh, uh,
people from Africa and the Caribbean, they agree with the Myron
King
Gaines and they agree with the
Powhatan,
Candace
father of
Owens.
Pocahontas,
That
was a Negro.
who from the Caribbean? Do Muta Baruka agree with Candace Owens? Do
Umbrella. That's cat in the gray
PLO
house.
Lumumba
Some
agree with
rum.
Candace Owens? who from the continent of Africa that's a leader or the Caribbean that agree
Yeah,
with Candace Owens
Tether's trying to
or
bring
Myron
divide
Gaines?
There's a
distance.
lot of people who have that Myron Gaines.
So name some powerful voices from the Caribbean or Africa that agree with these people.
Um,
Like I just gave some examples: Muta Baruka from Jamaica, PLO Lumumba from Kenya. Um, I can name a few
Yeah, who are? Yeah, you can name a few. That's about it. But what's your point?
brothers. So
gave you some.
I'm trying to understand who agree with
Um,
these right wing talking
I
points.
can not.
Okay, who the ones that's in America? And matter of fact, you said who agreed with the right wing talking points. I got you. I'll
Just
show you.
it ain't just right wing. It's anti FBA. That's
Right.
what that shit is.
Who's preaching this
Yeah,
anti-black America? 'Cause
Kwame
I'm
like 0 for
Jamaican and I'm
1,000.
quite in tune with the culture. I don't hear nobody speaking ill of black
Oh,
Americans. In fact, they
Okay, so now this is the guy. Now, family. This guy is on my channel often, getting beat up by me. Right. Um, he is the main one disrespecting FBAs. He's the one. He bring up all those right wing stats over here, but he goes on Tariq Nasheed and act like he's down with FBA. He's a rider. Stop it.
they uplift black
oh,
American
But
culture.
stop, Stu. Don't do that. Don't do that
oh,
because
word.
yeah,
Post
in
that
y'all
link in the
culture, y'all
in the
sit up here,
chat.
stay away from them and stay away from that, and all. Yeah, y'all do little shit.
But brother, I came up here when I was 6 years old. My family member never told me to stay away from black America.
Don't, because we've all heard that narrative before. We've all heard it. We've all heard it. We've all heard it. And you want to know who else sounds like Candace Owens and who acts like Candace Owens? An undermining bedwench who had power, Kamala Harris. You understand? She's a Caribbean bedwench who was in power and sat up and told us what she ain't gonna do for black folks, but roll the red carpet out for immigrants. Yeah, that's treasonous. When you send people like that over, and then we elevate them, and then they tell us to kiss their damn asses, it's up all the way.
So so now Kamala Harris speak for the entire Jamaica
Oh, oh,
and Myron Gaines speak for Africa. Are you serious, sir? I respect you a little bit more than that. You're kind of
come
intelligent.
on now. Hey, they speak for enough. They speak for enough. I've had a lot of East Africans call up here who agree with Myron Gaines. You understand? There's a lot of them who do, and that's the problem. When we start talking about reparations, all of these so-called allies who are Caribbean, they start sounding like Candace
right,
Owens,
right.
Westmore.
Thomas Sowell.
Ain't gonna hook up no reparations. Kamala Harris ain't for no
Shit,
reparations.
what's the other Tether
Where
name?
Byron Donalds, he got on the Breakfast Club. He's Caribbean. Yeah, oh,
Anton Daniels.
we don't need no reparations. So yeah, y'all sound like Candace goddamn Owens when y'all
It
get a
sound
little
like
piece of
Anton
power.
Daniels.
That's the problem, right?
So, but Westmore shot down a study for reparations. He didn't shoot down a reparation bill. I don't think
And
Westmore had the power to shoot down a bipartisan
yeah,
bill.
he shot the whole shit down. He shot it down, and he's not for reparations for us, but he rolls out the red carpet giving our tax dollars to immigrants.
Right.
That's a problem. So yeah, y'all can sit up and play that game. We ain't playing the game no more. We're letting folks know we don't want some people. If you ain't from the lineage, we don't really want you representing us.
But at least Kamala Harris support reparation. Does Trump
Oh,
support reparations for Black
Harris,
Americans?
she was in all. She was the vice president for what, 4 years?
Hey yo, why do they think? Why do they do that? Why do they? Is that tether logic? Why do they believe? Because we criticize liberals, we're automatically conservatives, or we criticize conservatives, we're automatically liberals. Why do they like? Yo, we people can't just be that dumb.
What reparations did she kick in?
Well, she supported it on her campaign. She said she support reparations for Black Americans in
She didn't
America.
get it then.
I mean, she didn't become
Don't matter.
president.
She was the vice president, and she made sure
Wait, but what about her Breakfast Club interview when they asked her, does she support reparations? She said, huh, no. What about that, Tether?
immigrants got shit. So how come we didn't get the reparations when she was supporting it?
I mean, you're comparing a vice president to the actual president. That don't make no
Don't
sense. But you promoted Trump, and does Trump support
don't
reparations?
start that. Let's get Dan. Let's get Dan. Don't do the whole. Does Trump do that? Well, let's not do that deflection. And
I
I
should have
didn't vote
called
for
in and
Trump.
cooked them
I
again.
didn't vote for Trump, by the way. Dan, let's get Daniel in here, brother Dan.
Well, what's good, Flex? How you
I'm
doing,
good,
man?
Dan. How are you, sir?
I find it interesting that nobody has ever heard anybody say, um, stay away from Black
I know.
Americans when people come up here and they say it all the time. That's
Right,
strange to
right.
me.
Mm,
Yeah, now he's a
mm.
lying tether
And
because he's
then
from over here.
the more crazy part about this, Byron Donalds, I don't know who this other person is he's talking about, but Byron Donalds is an elected official. He got elected down there in Florida. He's from New York City. When an elected official who cosplays Black Americans goes on a national platform and says he don't believe it because his mom wouldn't get it. That actively shows that they're not for us.
Wow.
And I don't give a damn what the people out of power are saying. It's what the people with the power are saying.
Right.
And all we're saying is, you know what? You're right. This is our fault. Because the second you guys do anything noteworthy, you guys delineate. And that's fine. That's cool. You guys have every right to be. Now we're saying we're going to put ourselves first because everybody seems to be putting themselves first. We have people come up here all the time and says, yeah, my parents did tell me to stay away from the Black Americans, right? A lot of these people come over here on these religious visas and they talk to these Catholic people. And these Catholic people will rename them, give them a white name like Abraham, Joseph, or some shit like that. And you know what they tell them after that? Stay away from the black folks. The black people in America are lazy. And they take that, they give them a little pat on the head, and the first thing they do is tell us that we're troublemakers and they're going to focus on doing the right thing to
So
make the
so a
white man happy.
so a couple elected officials speak for an entire nation now.
Yes,
Are you serious?
yes, I'm dead ass serious.
Yeah, that's kind of why they're elected. They're to speak
Right.
The,
collectively.
the,
People voted for him
So
the
because they
Byron
share
literal,
that
Donald
share the same thought.
speak for the Cubans and the
yep,
Jamaicans because he's
yep.
half Cuban and Jamaican.
Listen, check this out, right? You do realize that the president of Jamaica, well, Prime Minister of Jamaica, went on national TV, well, international TV, right, and made the statement that if you guys come back to Jamaica with the crime and stuff like that, it's not the same place it was 10 years ago. He said they're either gonna meet their maker or meet a judge. So that shows his view of his people who were in America, right? Because you know what? They all collectively believe that being Americanized is a bad thing. And they think that they spend time over here, they're criminals. So that's how European people view us. From the
No,
prime minister himself.
maybe he just saying that the people that's being deported are criminals,
No, no,
and
no, no, no,
maybe they
no.
are
People, the
criminals.
people, the people are being,
That
the people are being deported, right? Are
I
people
mean,
who
I never
thought,
heard of no model citizen being deported. So maybe the
yeah,
people that's
they
being
do it all the
deported,
time. They do it all the time. The thing about it
maybe
is, if
if
they're
you're
illegals,
deported, you're probably a criminal.
see,
So
this flies in the face of, I don't know, people just want a better life because they actually came over here and they've been over here for 10 years. They had every opportunity to become American citizens, and if they haven't done the right thing, either A, they didn't want to be, and a lot of them don't actually go through the process because they want to remain, keep some type of connection to their homeland,
Daniel, is that
and
logical
that's
to
the reason
think?
why they do it. You said
Daniel, is
what
that
now?
logical to think the people that's being deported are criminals? So maybe he's saying the criminals coming back to his country shouldn't bring their criminality back to his country. Is that logical to think,
Are
or is
you
that just
trying to
far
say?
fetched?
Wait, just to be clear, because you doing this fallacy, right? Are you trying to say that people who are being deported are all criminals?
I would think a vast majority of them, the consensus of them, are criminals if
Hmm.
they're being deported.
Well, here's the thing, right? And this is where you make the mistake at. A lot of them don't necessarily commit crime. What happens is a lot of them come over here illegally and they try to stay. That's the crime. But just because
Right. Cause I'm in the chat and I kind of like lost where they were. If they're talking about illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants in America, yeah, all of them did not commit violent crimes, but they're exactly what Dan just said. A lot of them come with student visas that expire, their green card expired, whatever temporary stay that was afforded to them to come in this country. Because sometimes they get an H-1B1, and sometimes they have a company, right? So let's say there's an Indian company, and they might have a branch in America, the same way we do it in their country, right? And they might send one of their top workers from India to a branch in America, still their company, and they would get permission, from us, obviously, to go to their business and maintain order, whatever, give a presentation, whatever they got to do. And but they also have a temporary stay. So a lot of these, and how about this? How about their asylum seeker status is denied because it used to be where they apply for asylum seeker status and they just come over here while they wait for the approval or denial. They just here, they just hide before they get the ruling because they know like it was a scam. A lot of them was scamming like that. They'll fill out fake asylum seeker status applications and fill out fake refugees programs, and it's catching up. Cause now like we like, hey, no, you don't qualify. Now we're looking for them, can't find them. So everybody, so Dan's right. Every illegal, undocumented person that ICE is looking for isn't a violent criminal. The only crime that they really did was they're here too long. You dig? And they got to go. So, but Kwame, again, I don't expect anything less of him. Uh, Over here, we're used to Kwame lying and not knowing something. Kwame over here told me that Ibram Ture had built an electric car that can compete with Tesla and every other American and even Japanese electric car. That's what he said over here with a serious face. Of course, I debunked him immediately, and I have the clip, so he'll never say he didn't say that. I clipped that one. But that's the stupid stuff he would say. Ibram Ture is manufactured. This guy don't even have a constitution, but he's able to manufacture. He got to hire Russia for security and other uh, type of assistance, but he's going to somehow have a car manufacturer company, a manufacturing company that competes with Tesla. Of course, he was debunked. The dude don't have no. I'm not rooting against him, but I'm just dealing with the facts. He does not have a car company. Not even he don't sell no. He don't even sell goddamn Tonka trucks. You dig? He don't sell Hot Wheels, let alone a real electric car. But this is Kwame. So, folks, these tethers, they hop platform to platform to platform. They're trying to see who's weak, and they can come over there and spread their tetherism and try to do a takeover.
Because they try to stay illegally doesn't mean they're actually breaking their houses, robbing people, and shooting at people. A lot of them aren't doing that. They're just kind of working under the table and stealing labor, right? I mean, it's one of those things you can kind of see why they would do it, but doesn't necessarily mean they're bad people, right?
Right.
So he's talking about criminals who harm society with violence and stuff like that. That's two very different things. A
So where are
squatter
you
is
getting
a
the assumption that he's saying that Black
listen.
American culture is criminality? Like, where
Where
how you
If
wing that
okay, check this
together?
out, right? I got you. I got you. Listen. Walk with me now. If he's telling people that this isn't the same Jamaica as you left 10 years ago and 20 years ago, if you come back and you bring this crime with you, right, you're going to meet a judge or meet your maker.
Damn.
What is he saying? What does that speak on the
Now
place you've
Kwame gonna
been?
try to act
I,
stupid.
I
Watch.
I I would think logically, if you're being deported,
No,
then
no, no, no,
you
no, no, no,
probably
no, no.
committed a crime to be deported
Okay,
out of a
you know what?
country.
You know what? So you okay? My God, you
I told you, Kwame. Listen. He is kind of like on the spectrum a little bit, so I give him a little break.
one of those straw man people. Got you, right? Is Donald Trump only committing? I mean, deporting people who committed violent crimes, or is it depending on everybody who's not supposed to be here?
I mean, if you're not supposed to be here, you're committing a crime.
No,
If you
no, no,
came
no. I'm
here
talking about.
illegally,
I'm talking about
Okay,
violent.
so now the question was violent crime. He knows what you said, Dan. But that's why, like, we got to be more in touch with our platforms because we'll know the tether that was over there and over here and over there, Jason Black and Afro Elite. Like, we will be able to spot them and tag them. Like, nah, they get no airtime. Like, this is just a disingenuous tether. That's why we can't really rock with them.
Crimes. Is that a violent crime?
no.
Okay, so why would you assume a person who's being deported has committed violent crimes?
I
Right,
never said a violent crime. I said a crime.
No, no, no. I'm giving you an example because he's talking about violent crimes. You're talking about crimes in general. Those are two different things.
right, on
Stealing no
purpose.
watch doesn't mean you murder somebody. That's why you get different sentences for different crimes. You get that, right?
Yeah.
So if a person steals a watch, is it safe to assume that they're a murderer?
No, but that's still a
Okay,
violent crime for
if
robbery.
somebody, okay, if somebody
Wait,
robs,
wait. No, he said still a watch. He didn't say rob you for your watch. He said Kwame, like, listen, he's one of the dumbest tethers I ever argue with. He's one of the dumbest ones. That's why I don't I tell Kwame, hey, you can call in, but you're gonna talk to another FBA person, one of my co-hosts or guests from the chat. But I'm done talking to you, my man. Like, cause I know even when Tiger came over here, our Jamaican brother who's a writer, he was cooking on Quadman. Quadman couldn't even be real with Tiger. It's like, damn, dude, you just a lying, disingenuous tether, yo. Like he fits all the stereotypes of a tether. Listen, he gonna say still a watch, but he's gonna say rob a watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
so if a person steals a watch, is it safe to
You
assume
heard him? He said if a person steals a watch, he didn't say rob you for your watch. And this fool said robbery. I'm telling you, he's a dumb tether.
that different crimes? You get that, right?
Yeah.
So if a person steals a watch, is it safe to assume that they're a murderer?
No, but that's still a
Okay,
violent crime for
if
robbery.
somebody,
He
if
said
somebody
robbery.
robs a bank, right? Is it safe to assume they're arsonists?
The white piece, man. Just do me a favor and like
No.
There's
the
different
video. Thank
categories.
you.
What I'm trying to get you to understand.
Everybody
So
like
if
the video.
he's deporting
Let me see.
people who are not supposed to be here, that's a whole separate category from robbing and stealing. Now, for you to assume that your
So
own
connect this
people,
to Black American
I
culture.
got you, I got you. Listen.
Yeah,
For you to
they hate being
assume
honest.
that your own people who are being deported back because they committed the crime of staying in the United States when they weren't supposed to be there. If you to assume and have to give them a pep talk about
Yeah, we just want
breaking
likes,
in and
family.
killing and stealing and all this
We're
other
down
shit,
like 30
that
likes.
says what you think about the place they went to. Because you say Jamaica's not the same. Well, what
I
does
know
that
it ain't
mean?
I know it ain't 30 tethers in here.
You
Because
understand what
they hate my
inference is,
channel.
right? To make an
My channel be
inference.
majority
He's
FBA. So
making an
FBA
inference
family,
that,
like
oh,
the
they over
video
there
when you know
learning
you
crime
didn't. Go
school
ahead.
and shit like that. Well, that means he's assuming that this is a bad place. And you know who
I,
they tell their people to stay away from when they come here? They tell them to stay away from us.
Right.
We can't see.
I
You
think
say like
I think you're
no.
assuming,
You what you're doing is
and
right. You're
you're
doing
pulling
this
a
thing.
straw man right now.
No, I'm not. No. You're doing this thing right where you can hear what the man said, and you're like, well, you know what? I'm going to
Right.
give my people the benefit of the doubt. And
Right. He just this tether right here will never I remember I had him on here and I was going over Marcus Garvey scamming history in America. Yeah, he wouldn't admit to nothing. Everything he was doing to Dan, he was doing to me. But what if Mark all this hypothetical straw man stuff? But but it didn't shock me because every tether I ever spoke to kind of speak like Kwame. So I'm never like shocked at the stupidity, how low they'll go with stupidity.
assume he's talking about the murderers and criminals and shit like that. And I'm telling you, like, no, one crime don't mean you commit another. And that's why there's sentencing guidelines for different crimes and different degrees. Because we understand in this American system that not all crimes are the same. So he's assuming that his people who are being deported back are on carjacking, robbery, and killing and shit. But you know what he did be sure to say? And he softened his tone when he said it? He said, bring back your resources and you can make a life here in Jamaica.
Right.
So that was the main goal for a lot of people. A lot of people come to
So this moment says the president was saying, don't bring that violence you left here doing and running to the states. He said, yeah. So basically, this moment says, don't bring back the violence that you were doing here when you ran to the states. Now you're being deported back over here. He's saying this ain't the same Jamaica it was 10, 20 years ago. That's what the moment just said. Thank you. This moment, peace, brother. And you also like the video.
America to extract the resources, but they do it under the guise of being one big black Negro. See, black people in America, unlike any other diaspora around the world, were able to fight back and force our oppressors to give us equal rights under the Constitution. Now, granted, it's a continuing fight, and we still struggle with that to this day, but we've made a lot of progress. And that progress allows people who look like us, who are not us, to come over and pretend to be us to extract resources from shit we built, and they'll take it back home. And that's exactly what he made sure to let them know. Bring your resources. What resources will he be talking about? Do you know revenue? Because that's what this is really about. Because
I
right
didn't
now,
hear
Right,
that
right.
part.
Shower
I didn't
posse.
hear that part of
Peace,
the speech.
FLA.
so you
I'm
didn't.
familiar with the
I
speech you're talking
I
about.
bet you didn't. Anyway, look it up. He literally told them to bring back their resources. And I find it strange he says that At the same time, he's taking millions of dollars from the Chinese right now, who are actually actively colonizing Jamaica through
Oh yeah,
economic means. Did you know that right now? When was the last time you've been in Jamaica?
he never
Like
been
two
there.
years ago.
How much shit does the Chinese own out there, opposed to what they did in the 90s?
I know they kind of dominate the sugar factory
The
and some
tourism industry, too. They're getting into that pretty heavy.
vaguely, but they usually dominate
Vaguely,
the ports and the sugar factory, the sugar in the industry.
traditionally speaking, hasn't the Caribbean been known for sugar canes?
Yeah, I kind of think it's embarrassing that the Chinese came over there and
Damn, you see your biggest
profited off
export.
what people was enslaved doing. So I think that's kind
Right.
of
So I just
embarrassing.
think the Prime Minister of Jamaica should be more concerned with returning a traditional Jamaican industry back to Jamaicans instead of out of the hands of Chinese. But no, he found time to come in and make a threat to Black Americans. I mean,
Where did he make a threat about Black Americans verbatim? Because
no, my
you're
bad. I
speaking about
misspoke.
speculation.
He made a threat to Americanize Jamaicans, is how he put it. This is his words, not mine. Who come back and bring the crime with them. That means he views people in America as criminals.
Why couldn't you look at it as maybe, you know what, you guys went to America, y'all committed crime. I don't want y'all to bring that same criminality that y'all went to America with and probably got deported because of it to bring it back to Jamaica.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you why. Because that's not what he said. He said what he meant. He meant what he said. He literally said it's not the same
But you're
Jamaican.
speculating. You're not saying nothing he said
No, no,
verbatim, like,
no.
oh,
It's
you're
literally
bringing back Black American culture or anything like that. So I'm kind of, you sound like you're
it's called
speculating and
it's
not
called an
speaking.
inference. It's called an inference. We can infer what he's talking about. He inferred it heavily.
So you're speculating, basically.
No, it's an inference. It's called context clues. I mean, he can't come out outright and say that. But look at what he's saying. He's
Yeah,
saying,
Kwame is
right?
stupid.
It's
Yeah,
not the same place you left 10 years ago. Well, how was Jamaica 10
God,
years ago? Was
he's
it better in a
embarrassing
better
me because
economic
he's
state?
from over here. Like, can you tether a little
I'm
better,
not
man?
100% sure, but I know the crime rate was probably worse than it is now. The
Okay,
crime
so
rate kind of went down
why would people want to leave Jamaica 10 years ago?
because the crime, it was war going on between gangs and things like that going on in Kingston and different parts of Jamaica. So maybe he's referring to that.
So you think all the bad people left and that's why it got nice, or you think the government actually did some work?
I mean, a lot of the bad people left and came to America under refugee status. They went to
Oh, so Kwame finally admitted that. A family, because I said when all those bad people, quote unquote bad people, left Jamaica and came to America, they had a negative influence on Black American culture. They brought the twerking, they brought the baby mama stuff, they brought the violence, you dig, the drug selling, weed smoking, and they brought the fake Sabi medicine, where hey man, you got a headache? Well, eat this grass over here and you'll be fine. Like that old pseudoscience, they brought that as well. And then the American conspiracies, Babylon must go, like all that bullshit. They brought a negative, they introduced negative influence in America. Don't forget when they came over here around the 90s, 2000s. Keep that in mind.
Europe. They went to Canada.
Well, they were coming before, but they came in real significant numbers. They was here before then, but they came in real significant numbers in the 90s, 2000s. But they were over here definitely in the 80s.
Under
Okay,
refugee status.
so it goes back into what Flex was saying earlier. Y'all send the worst people over here.
Right. Just like Great Britain.
Not
Well,
necessarily.
that's what you just said.
Hey, yo, he just cooked. Oh, I can't wait to Kwame get over here. I'm gonna make a clip out of that. He just admitted that the worst Jamaicans came over here. And then Dan brought it all the way back to the table. He said, hey, it goes back to you guys seeing your worst over here. Oh, not necessarily. Oh, yeah, you're done. I can't wait till that fool come back over here. I can't wait to Kwame. I'm gonna play this dialogue right here. Yeah, I'm gonna loop it on him. I'm gonna make him flee.
Ain't that what he just said? Am I
Yeah.
tripping? So it sounds like to me, you see, it's called a catch
We
twenty
got
two.
her.
It can't be both ways. It's either one way or another, right?
All right.
Either y'all send out y'all bad people, or just assuming everybody come back as bad. So maybe he knows more about this than we know. Because if we knew they were bad people, America would have never accepted them.
I mean, bad people did leave Jamaica, and they probably seek
They left
refugee.
Cuba too. Fidel Castro dumped all those people out in Cuba too.
And Great Britain.
So either way it
Yeah, so
goes,
they
this literally goes back in what we've been saying the whole time. They don't send their best and their brightest; they send the criminals. I mean, if he's accusing them of being criminals and they were criminals, maybe he's right to assume they was criminals. But I'm just thinking that maybe they just came over here. See, I was actually giving them the benefit of the doubt, but now that I think about it, yeah, maybe he was right. Maybe it's a lot of criminals coming over here. So maybe deportation is
Yeah,
probably the
Kwame
best thing for everybody. Don't
just
you think? So
confirmed
that
that.
way they can take all that hard work back to Jamaica and Russell, the sugarcane industry back from the Chinese
Ricardo, peace.
and keep them from getting a foothold in the tourism
pro-
thing.
I think
Wouldn't that be the
deportation
best
probably
thing?
the yeah. I mean,
Yo,
I think this FBA thing is probably
hey, yo, somebody send that audio of their prime minister. I want to feature that clip in the next live. Somebody send that link of Jamaica's prime minister telling them they better not come back with that bull, or we're gonna send y'all to the y'all makers. Somebody send that link.
gonna reach to a climax of violence. So I think it's best for
Hey,
Caribbeans and
why would it? Why
Africans
would
to.
it? Why would it reach violence? It's not a
I
violent thing.
mean, the type of stuff Tariq promotes, it kind of promotes like a undertone of
No,
violence.
it
So before it reaches that level,
What?
what?
What
maybe we
violence
should
is
leave.
promoted?
What?
Yeah, you hear this guy? I'm telling you, this is yeah. Listen. Y'all ain't hear nothing until y'all go back and watch our dialogues. My dialogues with Kwame. This is a lying. I can't even get enough words to express this dude, man.
What violence promoted? This is fair talk right here. That man has not told nobody to go out and do nothing violent. All he
No, I
said
never
was
I said the
There ain't
undertone.
no
no. What
undertone.
undertone?
There's no violent undertone. That's
Yeah,
you make.
explain it.
I'm
Explain it.
saying if you're saying that tethers are taking FBA jobs and they taking their opportunities, and we don't like tethers and things like that, it kind of has like
See now, a family. Listen to what he's doing, and this is what most tethers do. Don't let him do this. He is using the word tether as an identity of all people of the diaspora and all Africans of Africa. That's how he's using it right now. Listen, this is a devilish tether, man. This is a devilish tether. So he's using tether like everybody from the diaspora is a tether and every African is a tether. That's how he's using it right now. No, dude, we're talking about tethers like you.
a violent undertone. So I
Oh,
think
us protecting ourselves from your violence because y'all come over and you're acting violent towards
You got to
us.
get the gleaner? Oh, yeah,
We ain't
the gleaner.
saying
Oh,
that. We're not saying that whatsoever. And thank you for the call, Dan.
hey, you reminded me, Donnie. Hey, family, I'm subscribed to Gleaner too, and it got like some crazy news in Jamaica. If I really wanted to like do what Kwame said, I would really air out Jamaica's daily dirty laundry because they give updates all the time across my email about what happened in Jamaica, all negativity, and I never see anything about it. But they act like that's all we do. No, that's not all we do. We bring it up when you guys bring us up. When you guys start talking about 85% of the youth can't read on their grade level, yeah, I'm gonna bring up some stuff in the Gleaner.
And
I'm
yeah,
gonna
let
bring
me
up
deal
that
with this
floating
dude because now
splum,
you talking Fed talk.
Makoko.
Yeah, nobody said anything about being violent to nobody, and there's no undertone.
Well, their
See,
leaders are
y'all
definitely corrupt.
project a lot of the violence that you have towards us.
They're definitely
We
corrupted.
we don't have a version of the shower posse that we sent over to Jamaica, like y'all came over here. We don't do that.
Right.
And by
And Garvey came over as the biggest black scammer in American history. We never sent y'all an FBA scammer to be the worst scammer in Jamaica's history or Africa's history.
the way, people are pulling up some of your tweets, Revenue. Revenue, what's your tweet talking about? You F your white bitch so good she almost said the N-word.
that's a little Yachty lyric.
Oh,
Okay. So his little handle on Twitter or whatever is revenue. And now look, they pulled up his look at this thing. Yeah, this dude, look at him.
okay. So why are you quoting a little? Why do he had a lot of lyrics? Why'd you quote that one?
I thought it was funny.
Did it relate to you?
Right.
Nah, I don't mess with
Ronnie
white
P.
girls. I just thought it was funny. So Little Yachty lyric that he did with the Detroit people. I forgot the name of the song. I thought it was
The
funny. You,
healthcare.
you could even copy and paste the lyric and you would see it pop up a bunch of times.
A lot of
So it's,
That's
people
right,
quote
Ronnie.
lyrics that they kind of relate to. That's why they kind of quote random lyrics. It's not really a funny
They have a
lyric.
public
It's something that
what?
it kind of relates to. Like I might quote a lyric, feel so fresh and so clean because I feel fresh and clean that day. People usually tweet stuff or quote a lyric that relates to
Right,
them.
right. Not because
You
it's
know,
funny.
so Flex, you don't think that's funny?
and it's funny if you smashing a white
It's your FBA little brother. I thought it was
if
funny.
you smashing a white broad and she almost said the N-word. I don't
I know. Wait, he just said he was Jamaican. Now he's the FBA little brother.
know how funny that is. Another tweet you have, you was like, FBAs don't have a homeland like the Japanese. You said y'all more like the Kurdish or Gypsies, people with no homeland. Really?
Wait, so hold on. And this is I'm glad I went there. This is the confusion with the diaspora only. Okay. When the people of the diaspora that went through their own ethnogenesis, for them to call themselves Bahamian, Trinidadian, and Tobago, Jamaican, St. Croix, and Haitian, and say that that's their country, but we can't say America is ours. Like I don't even understand that. Like they always say, "Hey man, we're the same people just dropped off different locations." Okay, so why are you claiming that homeland is yours then, and why we can't do the same over here? So again, man, like you're not going to get a real honest conversation from these tethers. I'm telling you, you're not. Like I'm not even with them, a white supremacist, a black conservative, or Afrocentrist. Like you just not going to get it. And so when I talk to them, I try to be high spirited, but I'm on a low a pessimist when I talk to them. 'Cause I know it's going to be fruitless, but I do it to expose their arguments because their arguments they're trying to make their arguments like revise history, and I feel like it's my duty to debunk them. So that's why I need them to come over here to beat them up and beat up those weak arguments to give them no steam.
Yeah.
That's a projection. You're the one fleeing from left and right.
Because don't forget, lies like they pass laws based on a lie that's told a lie. Remember the welfare cream? Then you had welfare reform, and then TANF, all this stuff came afterwards. Yeah, so you can't let them lie without it being addressed because laws and policies get changed afterwards.
Wait, so I'm saying FBA is a nation just like the Kurds. They don't have a homeland. I think y'all deserve a
We
homeland.
do have a homeland. This is our homeland. Not only is we ain't like the gypsies. The gypsies, some of them are over in parts of Europe and certain countries. They didn't actually build those countries up. You understand? We actually were the ones who built this country up from the
Are the Kurds don't build in Turkey, Iraq, and Syria, and these places? They build pro, homeland different neighborhoods and stuff like that.
neighborhood. No, I'm talking about building the infrastructure of the country itself.
So you think no Kurds was involved in building the industries in these places that I named like Turkey,
No,
Iran, Iraq, Syria.
the Kurds, those nations have been around for a long time. The Kurds didn't build those nations.
So you don't agree with Elijah Muhammad that Black Americans need their own nation, their
You
own.
see, I'm saying, yeah, this all he does, man. All this tether does is he try to hold up an FBA to us to make us go against FBAs. And this is what a lot of tethers did on my panel. They come over here and I quote them. I quote this tether name. What's his name? Hacker, something like that. He came over here trying to get FBAs against ADOS, trying to, just trying to cause rift, being really divisive. And they say we are the ones. Look what he's doing now. He's being very divisive, but he's saying we're divisive.
Sovereign nation.
This is our nation here.
Okay, if that's if that's
And
your perspective,
yeah,
some of your prominent FBAs will disagree with that. They
so
believe
what's
they need.
how is this not our homeland and we built it from the ground up? I mean, literally built it. We constructed America from nothing into something. It was us doing that. How the hell is this not our homeland?
I mean, some will argue that you know that would well.
Who?
I'm quoting Elijah Muhammad and some of the
Don't
other prominent
quote
figures
you.
that believe that Black Americans deserve their own homeland.
Well, this is our homeland here.
Okay, so you should just be a foundational American.
Yeah, but you said we're like the gypsies. The gypsies just kind of move around all over the place. Their initial homeland was Egypt, by the way. The gypsies, that's why they're called gypsies. Gypsies is a short word for Egyptians. That's where they originated from. So they just kind of nomad it all over the place. We ain't nothing like that. We don't nomad all over the place.
You
That's
remember that
you.
story?
So you don't see no correlation between Black Americans and the Kurdish people.
That's you. Y'all nomad all over the place and squat all over the place. You run over to Britain, you run over to South America, you run over to Mexico, you come over here. That's you, sir. You're projecting.
Yeah,
You'll
but we got a base. We got a base though. We got a country. We got a country though.
never end. Exactly. The gypsies had a base, Egypt, and they ain't there. So they just nomad all over the place.
So if this is your homeland, this is your country. So you don't need various flags like the maroon flag that you got on your website or the FBA flag
Yeah,
or
just like
or the other 4 or 5 different flags that people.
you can do that. Now you're just changing the subject. Yeah, we give props to different parts of our lineage. Yeah, you do use different flags for different things within the culture. Yeah,
Little
you
sugar
do.
daddy.
You absolutely do. We can use different flags for different things within the culture. Absolutely. Just like in the United States, different states have different flags within the United States. You understand? But you, sir, are the nomad. We're not nomads. We're not.
So
Hey,
so if this is your
it
country
is.
and you feel like you don't deserve a sovereign nation, then you don't need a bunch of different national flags. You just need the good old Star Spangled, 50 stars and 13
You're
stripes.
projecting to us. And when you're the ones living like a damn gypsy, just running all over the damn place, getting deported and getting thrown out here and thrown out there, that's you. Don't put that on us. Boy, y'all love projecting on us. This is our.
No, I'm not project. I'm just saying that if you feel like America is your home, you shouldn't have 5, 6 flags to separate yourself from the nation that's already here.
No. We're a distinct group within the nation. We're very unique to this nation. Not only because the Star Spangled Banner, that was FBA hands on that too. That was Grace Wisher helping to sew the initial flag. So our fingerprints all over the whole culture. So yeah, we can also have other flags distinguishing our unique ethnic group with our homeland.
So what's the white American flag?
I don't know. They have a whole bunch of them. The Confederate flag was the white supremacist flag, and that was they still fly that within the nation.
But that was a sovereign nation, a collection of different states that came together to form the Confederate. Where's the sovereign nation inside of America that represent these different flags that you got put up?
And the Confederates is not a nation right now, but you still have white supremacists flying Confederate flags. See how that works? Because the ideology of it, you see, it's the ideology that they support. You understand?
So does flags represent a nation or a sovereign nation or a sovereign land?
Flags represent a whole bunch of different things. Like the Jamaican flag. Your flag is basically a different color Scottish flag. Your flag and your homeland was designed by white people.
No, it actually represents the Akan flag. It,
Why does it look just like the Scottish flag?
I mean, you could probably say the design, but the colors represent the Akan tribe. They have the same exact colors, so
But
it's paying homage to our heritage.
yeah, but it was some white Scots who basically patterned the flag after the Scottish flag.
But
You understand?
but you got stripes on your FBA flag, so yeah, are you mirroring the white American flag?
No, because again, the so-called white American flag, our fingertips were already on that shit. That was our foundational Black American system. They like to give props to Betsy Ross for sewing the Spirit of '76 flag. but they like to ignore that it was a foundational Black American girl who sewed the initial stars and stripes. So our fingerprint has always been on that, sir. You understand? But yeah, you have more of a nomadic disposition than we do, sir. You're not on your ancestral homeland. I'm on mine. We're on ours. You're a guest here. I'm not a guest here. We were never guest here. We're literally the foundation of this nation.
Well, according to the Dred Scott decision, you're clearly a guest in America.
Well, the Dred Scott decision was overturned by the 14th Amendment. That's why we had the 14th Amendment. William Nesbitt and Brother Octavius Cato,
I
they
never said it
fought.
wasn't overturned. I said
Just telling you the history. If you want to talk about the history, that's why after the Dred Scott decision, there was a massive grassroots movement with foundational Black Americans saying, hell no, we are citizens of this damn nation because it wouldn't be a nation without us. We just fought in this damn civil war. You're going to make sure that we're going to have equal rights like everybody else because we ain't going no damn where. This is our shit. And we put the foot down and made it happen. We didn't get on a boat and flee, sir. Right?
yeah, but like I said, I said prior to the Dred Scott, you was guest in America,
We were
according
never
to the Supreme Court decision.
we weren't guests here.
What did the Supreme Court decision say? It said no free Negro or
We had no rights that a white man was bound to respect. We were here before the white man. We were here before them. So we weren't guests just because they say we ain't gonna respect your rights. We said, hey, that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't do like y'all, just flee. We said all that.
When you say you was here before the white man, what exactly you mean?
Black people were here on this land, and you know that. You know black people were here in North America.
Nah, that's kind of pseudo. It's kind of
Already proved that there were black people here. Science proved that. Anthropology has proved it. The European explorers who came over here, they proved it. They've said it repeatedly. Lucia woman, they done dug
name one black tribe that exists in America prior to Columbus.
tribe, the Yamasee tribe, the Mashit tribe.
You do know we have the DNA and the haplogroup for these
We we
people,
we do have
and they're not like
first
90.
stop. It's been documented over and over again that there were black tribes here. That's not even up for debate at this.
No archaeologists, no.
Then why does Lucia woman, why did they construct the oldest bones in the Americas? Like 13,000 years.
Are
And
you talking about A00? That you talking about that haplogroup?
why did they construct the oldest bones? They got the oldest archaeological bones of a human being in the Americas and reconstructed it. And it was a black woman, and they named her Lucia woman.
She was probably dark skinned. She probably wasn't black. It's a difference between dark skin and black. And what was her haplogroup, or what was the genetic? What was the genetic samples that came out of that?
And but wasn't black.
No.
Dark skin don't mean you're black.
What does it mean?
Is an Indian a black person?
Some
What Indian is a black person, Tariq?
ones they reclassified as Negro. Why did they reclassify so many Indians as Negro then?
Are you talking about some 19th century pseudoscience? Or we're talking about
You said,
haplogroup, genetics, and things we could prove.
why did they reclassify so many Native Americans as Negroes?
Why did they? Maybe because they were slaves. It was no black people in America prior to Columbus. That's a
Why
fact.
classify Indians as Negroes over and over again?
Are you talking about a few Cherokee tribes that mixed in with with
Oh,
black slaves,
no.
or Seminole tribe that mixed in with black slaves?
Over and over again, they kept referring to Indian tribes as Negro, and they
Which tribes? Which tribes, Tariq?
several ones. Look up,
Give us some tribes.
hold on, look up Walter Plecker. I'm talking, this went all the way up into the damn 20th century. They were doing this. There was a white man who was in control of the vital statistics named Walter Plecker. He was a eugenicist. He was a white supremacist. He noticed all of these Native American tribes who had black phenotypes, and he said, we're going to reclassify these people as Negroes. We're going to strip their Native American tribes from them, and they're going to be reclassified as Negro. They would do this all across the board. There were black people already here, sir. You can go look at pictures and see some of these people. Now you can say, well, they look black, they got an afro, but the haplogroup was type AB and they had O blood. And that don't mean anything. They had Negroid phenotypes. There's books about all this stuff.
What's Negro phenotype? Are you talking about horsehair and?
No, I'm talking about there are figurines and monuments of people who look like damn Gucci Mane over here in North America and South and Central America that go back thousands of years. There's a great book and called Von Woutenau, who has a book called Unexpected Faces in Early America. He has all of these ancient figurines.
What's his name? I don't mean to.
Von Woutenau, Alexander von Woutenau. Look up the book Unexpected Faces in Early America. There's several figurines in his book. He has pictures and he went around Central America, Mexico, all over, collecting all of these private artifacts that go back thousands of years of Negroid looking people in the Americas. This is so well documented. We were already.
So you're doing lookership, not real scholarship, basically.
We're doing who?
You're doing lookership, not real scholarship, basically.
Lookership.
I mean, you're saying.
Yeah, that's your boy Kwame. This dude is terrible. My man said dark ain't the same as black. Oh my God. And yeah, he said that's pseudoscience. Hey, bro, calling people black is pseudoscience. You want to be technical? Like, who's actually black? So we know that these are just terms, political terms, or ways to identify people. Like, look at white people. Are they actually white? So, but again, semantics, this is tether babble, tether logic, tether tales. Well, get that on you.
In that you could just look at these pictures and say they're black. Like, are you cross-referencing their culture, their genetics, their linguistic, what languages they spoke, and how it correlate to Black Americans today?
Because there was not a.
Hey. Listen, it's real quick. He's confused. I mean, I don't. His definition of black. Again, don't forget, Kwame is one of the dumbest tethers you ever gonna speak to. Okay, so he doesn't even know why do we call everybody black? The Brazilians, and some of the Dominicans, and some of a lot of the islands in Africa. Why do we call everybody? Yeah, so yeah, these folks are black too. It don't mean they're FBA. Don't mean they're Jamaican. Doesn't mean they're Haitian. They're just black.
Black American at the time, so they're not going to speak English. His name ain't. You're not going to dig up an ancient monument named Daquan chiseled in a fucking wall.
No. But what I'm saying, cross reference, like we could say gumbo, right? Gumbo etymology go back to West Africa. That means okra. Just like
I saw you said that gumbo comes from West Africa. I saw that.
Yeah. The name gumbo means okra in most West African languages.
But does gumbo come from West Africa?
The stew part, but not the actual gumbo. But the word gumbo comes from West Africa, so we can tell.
Man.
Words come from everywhere. Words gonna come from somewhere. Yeah, of course, a lot of words will come from Africa. That's the oldest continent on the planet.
No, that's a direct linguistic connection.
But how come the gumbo ain't the same then?
Well, when you move across certain barriers, like jollof rice in one area is not the same jollof rice in another area. Like, that's common sense.
Well, yeah, they ain't got nothing that tastes even remotely like gumbo that we have over there. Not even close. So
I mean, stew, of course.
Hey, you can't put bush meat in gumbo and call it gumbo. Like, once you consider bush meat, we're not talking about gumbo anymore.
Of course, you're gonna cook stew differently in a different part of the world with different vegetables and different stuff to cook it with. So the stew is gonna be cooked differently.
right, so it
That's
ain't
common. That's just common sense.
Oh, it ain't the same. There you go. Right, it ain't the same.
Yeah,
So
but it's still African. I want to know where's the Native American culture or the Indigenous American culture?
there's foundation of Black American culture, and that's our soul food. That's everything we do.
No, I'm talking about because you said
Yolanda,
majority
peace.
of
Breathe.
foundational
Claude.
Black Americans was already here.
Yes,
So
it was.
where's the culture?
We need more
Did
likes.
you cook
Everybody likes the
buffalo?
video,
Did you
please.
cook where's the food you cook that came indigenously from America that we could see today? Or even some deities or practices. Like when you pour libation, we know that come from West Africa. Like when people pour out liquor for their dead friends or they people they pass.
Now look, hey family, you would think this dude is African. Don't forget he's Jamaican, family. He's sitting here like he will make you sometimes when he come over here and debate me, I think he's African. The way he'll like cape for African. It's like, hold up, dude, you're Jamaican. Let's talk about Jamaica. Because you're talking about us, you're talking about America, Foundation of Black Americans. So we're talking about Jamaicans. But he'll run to Africa. He does this a lot. I guarantee right now, there's a good chance Tariq forgot this dude was Jamaican. Guarantee you.
As we know that's African culture
Thank you.
or
Okay,
gumbo or
what
Ifa or we could see that culture.
what African language did you have before?
See,
Me, you talking about me specifically?
You and us. If
I told you. I said he thought he was African. The way he speaks on Africa's behalf. I told you. I said that, and what, 30 seconds later, Tariq thinks he's African. He forgot he was Jamaican that fast.
we
What?
everything was African, because Jamaicans are African too, right?
Yeah. In
What
Jamaica, the Maroon community they speak a Cromanti language, which is a tree language from the Ashanti people. So
the
we could see loan words like duppy, and different things that we say. It comes directly out of the tree language or the Cromanti
Now, here's when they selectively want to be African. Only when they debate us. Never in their life have they ever embraced Africa. Only when they debate us, all of a sudden they're African.
language out of Ghana, present day
maroon
Ghana.
the,
We even got a town called Akupang. That's literally a town too in Ghana called Akupang.
the maroons speak damn patois with that Irish ass
No,
accent.
they speak Cromanti
Hey, we got a Tether Pan Nigerian in the chat. Don't time him out. He's a regular troll. But rather than time him out, go watch our two discussions. I had two discussions with Pan Nigerian. I filleted this guy. This guy is a fool. Ain't on my level at all intellectually. Historically, nothing. Scientifically, I embarrassed him twice. He called in twice and got embarrassed twice. The last call we did about Marcus Garvey, he knew nothing about Marcus Garvey. That's embarrassing. And he's a Pan-Africanist. His leader, he's like, I don't know about your leader. And then he just make up stuff. And he likes to tether babble in the chat of a Pan-Nigerian. So you called in twice, you got cooked twice. You know what? Nah. Yeah, I'll let somebody from the chat debate you if they want to have fun with you.
they do not speak patois.
Yeah, that's that patois that y'all got from the damn Irish. All
No,
right.
we speak a language mixed with certain
Your accent is Irish. That Jamaican accent is an Irish accent, sir. Y'all don't have no African languages that y'all have over there.
look up Cromanti, Tariq. Look
Yeah.
up Cromanti.
What
A person from Ghana could go to Jamaica right now and go to the Maroon community and speak Cromanti fluently with them, and they could understand. They're
the
mutually
maroon
intelligible.
maroon community, they speak patois. I done been up there in the mountains, and they tried to sell me some weed. They speak patois in that damn Irish accent, sir.
Well, you didn't ask them about Cromanti because you
Oh,
wasn't aware of it.
yeah. There's always some secret little African tribe. Stop it. All right.
Hey, Pan Nigerian, you said, yeah, it's always some secret tribe in Jamaica who speaks African language. Yeah, sure. Hey, Pan Nigerian, you said Marcus Garvey was your leader and Dr. Umar Johnson was your co-captain. Now you're gonna take it all back, bruh? Stop it.
Professor Alon, hop on in, sir.
You had Mosiah's Marcus Garvey, and now you got the Prince of Pan-Africanists. You got Papa. You had, and look what's ironic. Both your leaders promised something they could never fulfill, and both are accused of scamming Foundation Black Americans. You got the worst luck of picking your leader.
Hey family, how y'all doing? I just want to point out a couple of things. First and foremost, the premise that he's using, like West Africa is old and ancient, is bullshit. I want to remind you
Right.
that my mother, who's not particularly old, is older than most of the countries in West Africa. So miss me with that bullshit. Secondly, I've been psychoanalyzing this dude, and I witnessed what I think it sounded like he was trying to entrap several people. So be real careful with him. And he slipped up when he told you, give us some names. So I have a question for him. Who is us? What do you mean by us?
Right. I
You
said
know
that
what I'm saying?
earlier.
So we got to be careful with him. He is a defender of white supremacy. So I'm
Yep.
glad he came up here to teach.
And that's been what I've been saying, and Tariq Nasheed been saying. You guys got to admit that. These tethers are team white supremacy. Make no mistake, make no distinction. When they talk about a civil war go down, who the white people going to go after, the blacks or Jamaicans, no, or tethers, or not Jamaicans, tethers, because only tethers make this argument. A real Jamaican man and woman wouldn't make this argument. A real thorough person from Africa wouldn't make this dumbass analogy. This is a tether talking point. So yes, we delineated the tethers from their homelands, like the thorough ones, and they mad at that. They mad we won't call everybody a tether. They hate that. They hate that we target them specifically away from their family back at home, or even in the States. That's probably thorough. They hate that. They want us to put a blanket term on all of them so they can, say, what about so and so? Nope, we only put it on you. And tethers. But yeah, they are team white supremacy. So they want to say, hey man, for civil war breakout, you think the whites going to differentiate the not the FBAs from the non-FBAs or the tethers? Like, bro, you're already team white supremacy. They know who are their informants. You're not gonna trick us. Just like if we get pulled over, they like to say if we get pulled over in a car, the cop ain't gonna say, hey, you're FBA nigga, you come out, Tether, you stay there. Dude, the cop pulled us over because of you. You gave them the signal, you informants. You guys are team white supremacy, 100%, even pan-Nigerian.
How am I a
These people
defender?
really
I'm a
feel
Pan-African. How am I a defender of white supremacy? You sound stupid.
because you're Jamaican and you've been colonized by white supremacists. Thirdly, I want to let you know that he doesn't understand.
Have you been colonized by Anglo-Saxon? Are you dumb? Are you
No,
that?
No, we never been colonized. We've been enslaved. Big difference. You got to be the dumb one.
I'm neither. I'm neither. I'm a licensed scholar. What's
And
your qualification?
when you say most of the nations, you're older than most of the West African nations. What nations are you speaking about?
I said my mother's older than most nations, most countries in West Africa.
What does that have to do with the tribes? What does that have to do with the
The
Akan tribe or the Yoruba tribe or the Igbo
system
tribe?
of the system of white supremacy mixed your tribes up so much you don't even know anything.
What
I've been to West Africa. I spent a whole summer
is
there
your
doing
grandmother
study.
older than the Akan tribe? Is your grandmother older than the Igbo tribe?
Be honest with you, I don't care because I'm foundational Black American. Ain't none
So
of that
why
shit got
even
nothing to
bring
do
up
with
the
it.
nations if you don't know about the tribes and say your grandmother's older than what?
I'm glad you're not gonna trip me up, sir. I'm better at this than you. The fact of the matter is you're playing little semantic games, and I don't
I'm
know
not
what your
playing.
agenda
You're
is.
playing semantic game. You're saying my grandmother is older than a nation
Did,
that came
did,
about in
did
1960.
not know
Okay,
what
we
your
know
agenda
that. We
was until you said you were a Pan-Africanist. You Pan-Africanist. You're an op, sir. That's what you are,
so
and
you
you've been
can't
trying.
be okay. Now I
And
get it. You can't be a FBA and a
honestly,
Pan African. I understand
honestly,
now.
honestly,
So to me, do
you're
you say this to Professor James Small?
Wait, hold up, but you're not FBA. You just said, see, here's the confusion with this guy. Here's his confusion. He said, Tariq, I'm just your FBA little brother. Well, hold on. How are you Tariq's FBA little brother when you establish you're Jamaican? And now you're saying you can be, hey, see, what? So FBA can't be a Pan Africanist? Bro, you're not FBA. You're Jamaican Pan Africanist, and you're not Pan Africanist. See, look, chat. This is what tethers do, because tethers got a choice. They only got two choices. They're either going to align themselves up with Black conservatives, or they're going to align themselves up with Afrocentrics, right? Pan Africanists. That's it. That's it. That's their two choices, and they usually pick a side. Okay. So this guy right here, he's really caught in between becoming a all out black conservative because all of his talking points were black conservative talking points. From his granddaddy Thomas Sowell. Nothing he said this whole how long he been talking 40 minutes. Nothing he said was Pan-Africanist.
That he can't be a Pan African and a FBA.
Yeah, you just getting into straw man semantics. So you just saying
Yeah,
stuff.
he said
Right,
Pan
Yolanda.
Africans are ops to FBA. So I'm wondering, do you tell this to
He
Professor
said
James
you.
Small?
He said you.
Right.
He said you.
Okay, so we got Lex in the building. The Holy FBA Codex TV1. So me and Lex is gonna arrange a live together where he's gonna promote a book. He got a book. Put the link in the chat of your book, the Holy FBA Codex TV1 Lex. Put a link of your book in the chat, and we're gonna discuss his book. Right, he's gonna promote his book, discuss it, tell you all about it, and tell you how to get it. But right now, he can put the link in the chat, and we're gonna work out a day where we can, do a collab, and he can promote his book. I think that's a great thing.
He said you're a Pan African, you're an op. So I'm wondering, do you tell Professor James Small he's an op because he's a Pan African?
He did the same thing over and over again. He's talking about you. He didn't say Pan-Africanist. He's saying you. And James Small, he's very much aware of his lineage here. And he's very proud of it. And he stands up for the lineage here. So let's be very clear. Don't try to hide behind the
He
word.
also say he dis.
Hey, this moment, I don't believe there's an educated tether though. It's like there's really, as far as history, because a lot of our conversations, I mean, if you look at Thomas Sowell, he's educated, he's an economist. Look at Larry Elder, he's educated, he's a lawyer from Harvard, right? So, but when it comes to history, because all of our conversation comes down to some politics, but a lot of history, all right? They're not educating those two fields because they lie. You can't be an educated liar. So they had to lie and twist numbers and all this other stuff. I caught Larry Elder lying about the school to prison pipeline. Like he act like he blamed it solely on bad kids. Like, hey man, just black kids just stop being bad. So like he disregarded the the punishment disparity between black school kids and white school kids who commit the same punishment, but only one is kicked out and the other one isn't. And this is on a constant basis. And again, I told you, each time a black kid is suspended out school suspension, right? They face being a dropout 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 times higher. Each time they get suspended out of school suspension, the dropout rate is even higher and higher and higher. So that's the school to prison pipeline. The school to prison pipeline isn't the schools are training us to be thugs. No, they're kicking us out of school, and therefore that is creating the pipeline to prison. Because when your kids are out of school, who's out of school with them? The bums, the fake OGs, all these guys are there, the bad influences, and nothing but trouble. So if you keep them out of school, the chance of them getting into trouble is high as hell.
Agrees with you too.
And he also said he agrees with here. And he's very proud of it. And he stands up for the lineage here. So let's be very clear. Don't try to hide behind the
He
word.
also say he disagrees with you too.
And he also said he agrees with me too.
He said quote unquote I love the brother Tariq, but I disagree with him wholeheartedly on.
Okay, so now you guys know my video went. I got a video on the dialogue between Tariq Nasheed and Baba Smalls, right? And it went viral. It's over like 10,000 views in like a month's time, something like that, right? Now this is a lying. I'm telling you, this dude Kwame is a lying piece of garbage. So Baba Smalls, Professor Smalls, he said what he said, right? Then when he spoke to Tariq Nasheed face to face, he changed his position. So Kwame is going off what he said earlier. He's not going off the modifications he made. He said Baba Spall said he is FBA and Pan-Africanist. Okay? He's FBA and Pan-African. So he said he's both. He didn't say that before. Before he said FBA, he said a whole bunch of terrible things about FBA, all right, when he was with a bunch of tethers. But once he got on the call, right, the dual live stream with Tariq Nasheed, he flip-flopped. He changed his position. So Kwame, why would you quote him when he corrected himself? The correction he made was he supports Tariq Nasheed and he is FBA himself. But again, tethers do lie.
On the rhetoric that he
Golden
promotes.
Brown.
That's what he said.
That's some
Tiger
rhetoric
P.
that y'all lied about.
No, we could pull up the video right now.
I don't give a damn what you pull up. I'm cool with Professor Smalls. He's in my new movie now. So yeah, he don't with me
Yeah,
that much.
he said you his little brother, but he said he disagreed with your rhetoric on the FBA thing. He's a proud Pan-African. He has
Okay, so now what I don't like to do is let lies fly. So let me just debunk that real quick. All right, let me just get to where Professor Smalls or Baba Smalls says he agrees with FBA and he is FBA and we got the right to identify ourselves. I'm telling you, these tethers, they are trash. That's why it's important we keep receipts. These tethers are trash. But this is why we invite them over here at this moment is to embarrass the hell out of them, to discourage other folks. That's why, yeah, I be in so many people comment sections. There's so many tethers and haters out here making videos against us, content creators so-called, and I'll be in their comment section challenging them all to a conversation, either their channel or mine. And it may be like 2 out of like 400 be accepting. Because we are, of course, they're going to look through my content and see all my debates. Like, well, hell no. Ain't about to do nothing over there. All right. So let me debunk the lie that he's talking about. All right. So everybody who came in, just do me one solid favor. All right. Just like the video. That's very easy to do. All right. All right, where am I at? Let me go to what I'm looking for. We ain't gonna let a tether come up here and lie. That's a no-no. Oh, okay. You know what? I forgot it was a regular upload. Yo, the video went crazy and it wasn't even a live video. It was a regular upload. All right, let me find it. I got it. Okay, hold on. I got it. So I tell you, like Tether's like they are the true people of division. They lie about other FBAs to get us to go to war with each other. It never works though. Like we're used to that from white supremacists. So this was the video right here I did. As you can see, it got 10,000 views in 1 month, right? Because people couldn't believe that Professor Small actually apologized and took back his hateful words, I should say. So now, you've seen the views. 10,000 views in.
And we have to continue
1 month.
Ignorance.
Pan-Africans is mad as hell. He apologized.
Tried to find an
All right, let me get to it.
Richard Allen formed the Afro-American League.
You were on a broadcast on a YouTube stream.
So this is Tariq Nasheed right now checking him. Hey, you were on a broadcast or YouTube stream, and basically you was talking filthy about my lineage.
And it was
what's up?
There was you were on. Yes, indeed. So now, recently, there was you were on a broadcast.
This is called a check.
On a YouTube stream.
An OG
and
check.
It was a dude who's kind of known in our circles as being a troll, and he gave you some real he basically lied to you and gave you some misinformation about some of the stuff that we've said, and then tried to use you against me, and some of these other trolls tried to use your words against me. How do you feel about that, sir?
Right. Well, part of it is the young man Omawale called me yesterday, and his position when he says I wasn't the one putting that out there like that, and I said, "What do you mean?"
Now, this guy, if you don't know who this guy's talking, that's what they call, well, he was known as Professor Smalls. Now he's a Baba Smalls. But this is the guy that Tether Kwame was referring to in that dialogue with Tariq Nasheed.
And I said because I couldn't find him. I had the name wrong.
Yeah.
And when I found the name in my phone, he called me just as I found the name. And he says, listen, because I did this little piece, I was trying to get it right on Twitter, calling people out for doing that, because I'm saying, wait a minute, that was not what really happened.
Right.
Now, he did raise these things about foundational Black American. And I go like, these are my children, I think is the term I use, and I love them. You got to understand it. If I think my children have any issues, I'm going to argue with them to get the issues right. Right? If they made any statements wrong, then I'm not going to stab them in the back or talk to them about behind their back. I tell them my love for you, our relationship, and so forth. And whenever I have any issues, I talk to you about it. Sometimes you be quiet, sometimes you take me on, but we've never had a negative.
Right, of course.
You and I.
Of course.
And you know the things I disagree in, and they ain't really big things. That's the issue. Well, then I really argue with you about one thing, the N-word, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I think you lose your temper a little bit too much on some of these Negroes who don't deserve you putting that energy on. And those have been our two issues.
Yeah.
And we deal with this on back. And I remember when you were having an issue, but I think we won't even call his name, but a little brother out there.
Yeah.
And I call you and I talked to you about it, and you squashed that.
Yeah.
There was an issue with some sister who was coming after you about some stuff. I called you this a couple of years ago. You squashed that. They didn't squash it, but you did.
Yeah.
So I have to let people understand and be clear, because I got some crazy calls from all over the world. When I was coming to Washington, you're not going there. And I said, wait a minute, I had to do almost had to do a Tariq Nasheed. I had to go off of some folks. Who the hell are you to tell me where I go, who I speak with, and why? Now, if you called me and said, Brother Small, I heard something about Tariq, is that right? I would have told you, no, that ain't right. You've been misinformed. And so when I did the show with the young people, because they'd call me, and I do a lot of shows with young people call me, and most of the times I don't know who they are beforehand, and a lot of times it's the first time. And some have played me out of pocket, because they just want to say I got Professor Small on there, and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And on this show, when the issue came up, and I told them, when I want to speak to you and make a criticism, I do it to your face. I'm not a backstabber. I'm going to tell you, and I'll say right out in the public that I own it. That's how men do.
Right.
That's how men be. And then we had what I thought was a decent discussion with me explaining what Pan-Africanism is, explaining what Foundation of Black American is, and telling them I'm both. Because for me, Pan-Africanism is how we unite the Black people all over the world to be one force.
Right.
Now, we can call it Pan anything we want to, but all the Pan means is unity, nothing else. And that Foundation of Black American, that we have a right to identify ourselves in the same way any other ethnic group. And I think I used the Jamaican community. They don't call themselves African, they call themselves Jamaicans.
Right, absolutely.
The people from Haiti don't say I'm African, they say I'm Haitian. And we find no contradiction with that. We're the only group in North America that use the term African to describe ourselves.
So y'all all heard that. He said, I'm FBA and I'm half Pan-Africanist. He said, I'm both. Okay, so let me finish now. Let's go back to his lion tether.
Business and agree with the brother. So I'm wondering, do you tell Professor James Small he's an op because he's a Pan African?
He did the same thing over and over again. He's talking about you. He didn't say Pan-Africanist. He's saying you. And James Small, he's very much aware of his lineage here, and he's very proud of it, and he stands up for the lineage here. So let's be very clear. Don't try to hide behind the
He
word.
also say he disagrees with you too.
And he also said he agrees with me too.
He said quote unquote I love the brother Tariq, but I disagree with him wholeheartedly on the rhetoric that he promotes. That's what he said.
That's some rhetoric that y'all lied about.
No, we could pull up the video right now.
I don't give a damn what you pull up. I'm cool with Professor Smalls. He's in my new movie now. So yeah, he don't agree with me that
Yeah,
much.
he,
So yes. So as you can see, these tethers, man, we can't do anything with them. The dude was pump faking Tariq Nasheed like he had an updated video about
he said you his little brother, but he said he disagreed with your rhetoric on the
hmm?
FBA thing. He's a proud Pan African. He has business in Ghana. He has hotels in Africa.
I've supported his businesses in Ghana. When they were going through some stuff, I donated money in the whole nine. So yeah.
You don't got to disclose all that, but can
Yeah,
you be a FBA and a Pan African?
you brought him up like there's some kind of beef. Yeah, that's me and Professor Small is good. We don't disagree with anything. There's no rhetoric. There's no rhetoric to disagree with. Lineage is your lineage. Yeah.
Yeah, just as a
So
point of
can you be a
clarity,
Pan African and be a FBA?
as with a point of clarity, you keep throwing out these arguments trying to trip us up. The
Right.
fact of the matter is, given the sequence of questions you're asking, I have a question for you, sir. Why are you here, and what's your agenda? What do you hope to do today?
Oh, I came to ask Tariq if he delineated from Africa and the Caribbean. Why is he selling Ogun hoodies and Ogun jewels? He could
Got
sell
it.
a he could sell an
Got
indigenous if he believed that America FBA was already here before Columbus, so he could
yeah.
find a
What
deity. He could find a deity
did
that was already
did
here.
what did that all that have to do with street gangs? Why are you bringing up street gangs that have nothing to do with you?
Well, because he said that we always he said he's
That's what kindergartners say when they get there.
and y'all think y'all can work with these tethers? No, 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 no. I'm sorry. I put that poll up there. Y'all know my answer. My answer was hell no.
Your hand caught in the cookie jar.
if you let
You have
me
no agenda, sir.
if you
You're
let me explain, he said that we always been
His ass.
against Black Americans. So
what's your conclusion? I know what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
I brought up Stokely Carmichael, then I brought up how the Caribbeans and Black Americans came together to fight the oppression of the Hispanics in New York. So I gave him
No,
What? What? Yeah, what is that? What are you talking about? Yeah, what's wrong with this guy, man? The Caribbeans. Yeah, there's like hella islands over there. Which one? This dude said the Caribbeans. Like, yeah, just everybody. Like, we just equal in numbers over there. Yeah, we 43 million over here. You dig? Yeah, 1 million over here. What are you talking about? The Caribbeans and us got together. or a few short million, whatever it is, 3 million. I think it's 1 million, or it might be 1 million Jamaicans, maybe 6 million total.
Called out for lying. A brother from New York called up and chewed your ass out for lying. So yeah, you doing a lot of lying
Right.
up here.
He came up here and started yelling and said nothing.
Yeah, because he called you out, because yeah, several people called you out for lying. There was no black people getting oppressed, no FBAs getting oppressed by no damn Latinos. You're just saying stuff, sir. Professor Allen is calling you out for lying. You're doing a lot of lying, sir. So yeah, what's your motive?
Tetherism.
Like I said, I came up here to ask you
We need more
directly
likes,
because a lot
family.
of FBAs said, well, I don't know why
New
Tariq
people
is
is
selling
joining.
Ogun.
That's
No
lovely,
You
FBAs
but
should
the
getting
ask
oppressed
likes
by
him,
no
do
don't
no
damn
ask
good.
us.
Latinos. You're
I
just
said, okay.
saying stuff, sir. Bad faith argument. Professor Allen is calling you out, and they can't do shit about it. You're doing what the hell I want to sell. That's the answer.
Right.
You understand? I can
Esco
sell what the hell
Lefty
I want to
3000
sell.
piece.
I can sell
Welcome.
kente cloth thongs if I want to.
Yeah,
Because
so you can make money off Africa while you undermine Africa at the same time.
I ain't undermining nothing. Y'all make money off us. Y'all come over here and
Again,
eat
like
off
they
us.
just say stuff. We're undermining Africa. Explain how we undermine. Can't do it because we're calling out individuals. We're calling out tethers. Those are individuals. Tether is not a country.
You come over here and eat off my tax dollars. You come over here and eat off all of our minority programs and all of our set asides. Y'all eat off everything we damn do. So yeah, I can sell some Ogun juice and I'm gonna get some damn root work specifically for your level of must and make some money off that too. Yes, because y'all make money off us all the goddamn time. You come up off of us and it's a one-way street. We have to go over there and bring a goddamn bag in order to get over there. Y'all come over here and pull up a damn plate and eat off of us and then turn around and talk shit, hollering about why you selling some Ogun juice. Yeah.
Okay, and speaking of eating off us, a family. This is a perfect opportunity to say this. So tethers and Afrocentrics want us to feel bad when we do business with each other. Like for example, when Tariq Nasheed have products and he sells them, he makes them available to black people, not just FBAs, but black people. You dig? That's not a problem. Like they try to make us feel guilty for practicing black economics. Like who do you think Maggie Lana Walker was doing business with? Who do you think Madam CJ Walker was doing business with? Huh? Who you think all these folks, who do you think AG Gaston was doing business with? They were doing business predominantly with black people. And that's how we had these Wall Streets. So now all of a sudden, selling products and offering services to black people is a problem. So buying black is cool, but selling black is bad. If somebody is buying black, that means somebody got to be selling black, right? So Tariq's not black. Dennis Sperling ain't black. Jason Black ain't black. You and I ain't black. Yeah. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with a black economy amongst ourselves. Okay. I teach chess. So yeah, I'm gonna offer chess lessons to black people, everybody, but also to black people. You dig? So and we're not gonna feel guilty of taking advantage of black economics. So y'all shut that down when people try to make us feel guilty of doing business with each other. Oh, Tariq got Ogun juice. Tariq got a flag. Yeah. That's what salesmen do. Don't we all brag about being entrepreneurs? So if you're an entrepreneur, that means you're selling something or you're offering a service for money. You ain't a you ain't a volunteer entrepreneur, are you? You're in business to make money. And nobody can lie that Tariq target market is black people. He's borrowing that concept of Dr. Claude Anderson from his 2001 speech, Powernomics. My Facebook group is called Black Think Tank. I got that from Powernomics. He kept saying black people, Dr. Claude Anderson. He kept saying black people, we need a think tank. We need a think tank. Well, guess what? I created my Facebook group like in 2005 or something, like so many years ago. And I called it Black Think Tank because he inspired me to have a black think tank, or some type of Facebook group where we could talk amongst ourselves. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with us offering services, selling sneakers, selling shirts, selling toothpaste toilet tissue, food. Some of us got food. Some of us got clothing articles. Lex Vortex is going to come on here and talk about his book. There's nothing wrong, and how you can purchase it. There's nothing wrong with us. Matter of fact, we're supposed to sell it to each other first. That's how you get the dollar going around. How can a dollar go around? We're not passing it to each other left and right. So it just kills me when people say, "Hey, man, you pimping the black community." Ain't no such thing as that if you're black. How you talking about? Now, if you're scamming the black community like Marcus Garvey, that's an issue. But if you're doing business, fair business with black people, that's a great thing. But people are afraid of our rise. They literally are. They're so afraid of us standing together and saying, "Hey, we're different. We're black like you, but we're different. We're FBA." They're so afraid of that unity, and the word just keep getting out there. It's getting catchy and catchy. And some people who are Foundation Black America, but never call themselves that, never heard of it. Well, guess what? This message is reaching them too, and it makes sense to them the first time they hear it, like it does everybody. Like that's why Professor James Small was against FBA at first, but when Tariq Nasheed checked him, now all of a sudden he's FBA because it's just so natural, man. If you are truly a Black American and you hear the term FBA and hear why it's necessary, you gladly receive it. Okay? I don't care if you call yourself a Pan-Africanist, you gladly receive it. You know that's talking about you. Even those coon Black conservatives know they're FBA. All right.
Y'all owe us. That's why. All
Yeah.
right.
Lastly, brother Tariq, I wanted to bring up he ain't us. I think somebody said he was Jamaican. I spent time studying as a scholar at a college in Ghana and Gold Coast. And what I discovered is there were two different, and although all of us aren't from Africa, I do have lineage. I'm foundational Black American Indigenous. And on my dad's side, I do have lineage from West
Every
Africa.
FBA claim they're indigenous and they not African. Yeah.
I'm not done, son. I'm not done. What I discovered in West Africa, ladies and gentlemen, is the foundational Black Americans who were brought to the United States, what would become the United States, were separated in Africa. We're a different lineage from them before we even got over here. We went to Cape Coast. I'm doing real research on that, sir. You can buy my book, idiot. You might learn something.
And
Go
you also came through the Caribbean. It's funny how you guys say that you're indigenous to America and all your food comes from Africa. Your black eyed peas, your gumbo, your
Not true. True.
What bush meat do we eat? The food. How come the food don't taste the same then? Huh?
well, the bush meat you eat is raccoon, possum, bear meat.
Nobody eat none of that. How come the food over there don't taste like our food then?
So no black American cook raccoon and
Our,
possums.
how come our food don't taste like theirs?
I mean, Jamaican food don't taste like African food. What does that mean? We all come from Africa.
No,
No,
we all got the.
Where you think you got the okra and the black eyed peas from? Where
no.
you think the Gullah Geechee learn how to cultivate rice from?
Then how come
I'm a.
food don't taste the
Did
same?
rice come from America? No, they learn how to cultivate rice because they was on the shores of Africa and they know how to cultivate rice. So the whites brought them over to cultivate rice. That's
I
common
completely
knowledge.
don't.
Rice is not indigenous to America. Black eyed peas.
The food don't taste the damn same then.
Hey, yo, listen. I was when I went to Jersey recently, right, for a family thing. I had got an Uber by FBA woman, right? Then I got a ride from the airport for my brother to the event. But I went to my boy house somewhere in Jersey that does construction, home improvement. And I got an Uber, and it was a brother from Nigeria. He was cool as hell. He wasn't a tether, but he was asking about, our dishes, our soul food dishes. And he was explaining his dishes. But the dude, he seemed like a real thorough Nigerian. But he was telling us, like, he said, okay, I explained a typical generic soul food plate, and he said they pretty much make the same thing except except for something. What did he say? I think it was Big Mac. I think he said they do yams, they do some type of collard greens, but I think he said the Big Mac they didn't do. But he was explaining the difference. He said the difference is our food a little more spicier, and we make yams. So they make a lot of soups. He was telling me. But dude was cool as hell down to earth. He was not a tether like some of these folks that be online. You dig? But the bottom line is that he even acknowledged that we use the same meats, ingredients, and even like rices and stuff, but we prepare them differently. And I'm sure they're used to spices, hot spices, so they won't probably value our food. And we're not used to hot spices, so we probably gonna feel a certain way about their food. But I'm sure they both conserve the purpose. You dig? Of filling your belly. But the dude was just real. He wasn't a tether. He didn't ask some dumb questions, nothing like that. Just a genuine Nigerian dude. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you, there's a lot of folks out there who don't behave like Kwame. Kwame does not represent Jamaica. Kwame represents tethers. Okay, that's who he represents. Yo, we need a tether flag, yo. He said, "Why we never eat bush meat pasta?" Yeah, you are funny. But let me give the new people, I believe y'all either a supporter or your FBA yourself. Let me hit y'all with a wrench.
Huh?
The food ain't gonna taste the same once you cross a continent and you learn how to cook it.
Existed for thousands of years. Yeah. Peas existed for thousands of years. It's all about the way you make it.
Right.
We make
So why all your food come from Africa? All your
all of what? What all
Now,
food?
don't forget, this guy is from Jamaica. I don't want y'all to be confused that he's from Africa, but he's from Jamaica trying to call division between us and Africa. I mean, this is what they do because he can't mention his homeland. You dig? So he got it. This is what they do, man. They talk about Nigerians doing better. They go every Indians everywhere but themselves. Hey,
What
peace,
all
BS.
food comes from Africa? Like what?
your black eyed peas, how you cultivate rice like the Gullah Geechee.
Rice is
Um,
for the
Black Bear, peace.
world.
no,
Hey, yeah,
rice
I'm giving
rice is
y'all
only
wrenches. Y'all
indigenous to
family, y'all get
China
wrenches. All I ask you, like
and
the video.
Africa,
That's for
nowhere
everybody.
else.
Everybody should like the
No,
video.
no. So first and foremost, he said we came through the Caribbean. No, the Caribbeans, the people who went to Jamaica and
Do you
Haiti
know about the
and
triangle slave trade?
Fried chicken,
Man, interrupting me, idiot.
not fried chicken.
He came from the Elmina Castle by the Portuguese. It's called the Mine. Foundational Black American enslaved people came.
I mean, yeah, listen, like we can literally be petty. We can, first of all, nobody can roast better than us. And we can really be petty and attack the diaspora in Africa, right? And even the civilians, right? The civilians are the folks that got nothing to do with tethers. Like they just minding their own business in their homeland. You dig? But if we was to really roast the diaspora homelands in Africa, bro, we would be all day here having like a Comedy Central, bro. Comedy Central, man. Like for example, if you want to go with science, HIV came from Africans eating monkey brains, chimps, whatever the hell they are. It's a monkey, right? Eating monkey brains. And these monkeys had a monkey version of AIDS. It's called like SID or something like that. I'm trying to just read off the top of my head, right? So now they're eating monkey. Now they're in like 1980s eating monkey brain. Like, come on, are you serious? 1980, but they're eating monkey brains in 1980s, and I think it's called zoonotic, something like that, where sometimes you get like swine flu, COVID-19. Sometimes an animal disease can transfer to humans, and unfortunately, that was the case with those Africans. But we never remind them. We never remind them that AIDS and HIV stem from Africa, from eating monkey brains. We never do that. We don't be that petty, but we can be.
came from Cape Coast up on the hill. We were different before we even got here. Secondly, what he's doing, ladies and gentlemen, is called a red herring. It's an amphibole. He keeps throwing up different fact patterns to try to confuse us. The red herring came during the concept of red herring is when they would hunt people down with dogs in America. The criminals would take a red herring, a smelly fish, and throw it somewhere, put it on their clothes and throw it to throw the dogs off. He keeps
So,
trying to confuse us.
so,
He keeps trying to confuse us because he's a time-wasting tether.
so
That's
if
what
you
he is.
so if Black Americans came from one place, why when I go to the New York the African burial ground in New York in Manhattan, we see a mixture of different culture. We see the Khan tradition, we see the Yoruba tradition, we see the Igbo tradition, we see the Senegambia tradition,
Bush
and
monkey
and,
back.
and in fact, James Small used to do tours at
Telling
the
you, man.
African burial site. So to say that you came from a
So if we,
specific reason,
how come we ain't musty like you?
who's
Yo,
money?
you see, he keep bringing up Professor James Small, who's FBA. So he keeps trying to call division. When they piece it up, it really ain't piece it up. I'm gonna be honest. Like Tariq Nasheed just really chumped Professor Small, and he cowered out. I'm gonna be real. It wasn't like you know, he ain't want no smoke. So he ain't want no doll made after him. So he just like, yo, I'm FBA. Can we all just get along type shit. But he keep trying to use Professor James Smalls against us to cause division. And he said, he said, why we ain't musty like you?
How come we ain't musty like you?
Who's musty? Is
Who's
Man, it's
musty?
plenty of Black Americans that's musty.
Nah.
Not really. How come we don't have the same must
Yo, he did the cricket sound.
like you?
Hold
To
on,
say that
hold on. He is petty as hell. He asked, well, why we ain't musty like you? Then he put the cricket sound there.
you came from a
So if we,
specific reason,
how come we ain't musty like you?
who's musty? Is
Tether logic.
Man, it's plenty of Black
Baboon
Americans that's
burgers.
musty.
Look at the cricket sound.
Not really. How come we don't have the same must?
As who?
Yo, that was a dope outro, yo. My man said, how come we ain't musty like you? He threw the cricket sound. All right. So hold on. So we got that's out the way. Oh, we weren't done there.
Her
Oh,
stomach is a little big, but I'm telling.
I'm sorry. I forgot to show y'all this right here. So when they be acting like, yo, when he was lying to my nobody from the diaspora in Africa be talking bad about us for no reason. Here's case in point. Roll the tape.
Which is funny how almost every foreigner has something to say badly about African Americans. Even Africans sometimes have to say about African Americans, but then everybody comes to America trying to be African American.
I'm gonna speak for my whole country. Love Jamaica, but I think quite a few Jamaicans think that you guys play the victim a lot. Like an outsider looking in, it's like, gosh, them complain about everything. Look how much opportunity them have. Look how them can work. Look how them can buy $1 burger. And them over there complain. And that is how I was preconditioned, if I'm being totally honest. They're like, Shante,
It makes sense.
Yeah, don't go over there and waste the opportunity. Don't go over there and start complaining. Work for your own focus on that. So that's always been my mindset. We're so focused on just making it. I really want to emphasize that. But sometimes when you just are focused on, oh, you go eat, you know, think say somebody a touch you. You know, think say, oh, I'm not have the right temperature. We're hungry. What y'all gonna do?
The way how African Americans prioritize blackness isn't necessarily the same way in which an immigrant would prioritize their blackness. So, you know how African Americans will say, oh, black writer, black creator, black artist, black lawyer, black doctor, black woman in STEM. No, when we come to this country, it's immigrant or nationality. Maybe our careers next, and then whatever else comes after that. So immigrant, Jamaican, marketer, whatever else comes after that. The issue that you're having is we don't see ourselves as one of you. that. The issue that you're having is we don't see ourselves as one of you. And the reason that we don't see ourselves as one of you is not because of blackness. We just see ourselves as an outsider.
The issue that you're having is we don't see ourselves as one of you. And the reason that we don't see ourselves as one of you is not because of blackness. We just see ourselves as an outsider.
So now let's move forward. So as an immigrant, I'm here in this country. What do I want to do? Put my best foot forward. What do my parents want to do? Put their best foot forward and give us the best opportunity they possibly can. Thank you, Lord, for my parents because they did exactly that. But it's my turn as their child to hold the baton. And one thing I always say, my parents did not risk their lives to get to America for me to get involved in some political warfare. My parents did not risk their lives for me to get to America, for me to sit here fighting people all day. That makes absolutely no sense. And I think because you guys have never taken that level of a risk, you don't understand that level of responsibility and accountability. That's really the problem here. Because you really...
So we out here in a war against white people. Civil war. We and the Japanese are the only non-white people to defeat white people. We're the only people. The Japanese and FBAs, we are the only non-white people to defeat white people in the world. And she said, we don't take risks.
Risk your lives to have something. If you really risk your life to get something, you're not willing and ready to throw it away.
Okay.
Just fully American. You're African American, bro.
Look at this Tether.
How was that see you in 30? That wasn't an insult. That was strictly, you're black. You're not Trinidadian. You're not Jamaican. You're not African. You're not, word.
We're American, man. But yeah. But for some reason, yo, a lot of FBAs, man, we make these tethers rich when they disrespect the hell out of us. He's one of them. Anton Daniels, another one. You got DJ Academics. Yeah, we at one point it was Fat Joe. We love to support tethers. Yeah, did anybody see that Japanese rapper, female rapper who's trying to go viral? Again, FBAs are pushing her. Why do we create culture vultures and then get mad later when they turn to white, when their career is over and they turn to white supremacy? So there's some skinny, nobody, terrible, bad built body, Japanese woman out there rapping. Somebody gave her some lyrics, she's rapping and she's being pushed to be like the new female rapper. I was like, yeah, I'm so past. I'm like, yo, man, I hope we don't support that damn tether, that culture vulture.
You're not Ghanaian. You're not Dominican. You're not Puerto Rican. You're not Cuban. You are American.
I farted so loud.
Right.
Black Americans people, I don't like them because they do.
Now, she doesn't like us, but she's never been to America before. This woman right here, this Rwandan.
They take lots of drugs. Really, that's what I think.
But wait, you said FBA, Foundational, what? Virgin Island Man? What FBA stands for? Yeah, because I seen that she was on like Shannon Sharp. I'm like, oh, here we go, promoting our own enemies. Like we're like giving our culture away.
But have you met any Black Americans in real life?
No, like in the movies.
She never met us. Movies.
I didn't meet them.
Now, what do you think about the Black American culture?
Fucked up. I'm sorry. Is it like?
Now, they're somewhere letting cows piss on their head, and they're saying our culture is screwed up.
Okay, the fucked up humanity group, that's Black Americans. Yeah, and I actually feel bad for saying that. It's true. I know
don't like
it's
your
true.
hairline.
Now, why do you believe that?
What's your name?
Because
I can't see your name.
They mostly don't belong where they are. They're Americans. We all know they're Americans. They know they're Americans, but they don't belong there because their mind one for that. They are minor, and the racism and everything. They don't belong there actually. So they belong here and they are not here. So they are fucked up.
That's really interesting.
So,
I had no idea.
So I had this tweet by McBeanie _ and they said African Americans are by far the worst representation of Black people. They are obnoxious, self-righteous assholes that make people's lives a living hell anywhere they go. And then she got like 390 likes.
Is she also Black?
No, I don't know what she was. But this is what she said. Yeah.
Wow. That's really a lot of hate, I feel like.
That's a lot of hate.
My mom would agree with that comment.
Look, she said that's a lot of hate, and her mom will agree with that comment. So your mom is filled with a lot of hate, and your mom raised you with all of that hate. But you'll see it come out of her. So right now she's acting like, oh, that's my mom. My mom was terrible. But I'm not like that. Watch it come out of her.
She would agree with that post. She would say like, lazy, like loud, rude, all the negative connotations.
That's interesting. So let's explore that.
That's really interesting.
But I also will say that like my parents definitely came over here with stereotypes about African Americans.
When Africans are immigrating to the United States, their idea of African Americans, like take away modern times where we have like the internet and everything, it's coming from TV, right? Where they're just seeing these rappers and these music videos, and you're seeing these movies and TV shows with people shooting guns and like cussing.
Breeze.
Ignorance from our parents.
And she said ignorance from their parents. Hey, Breeze, but they'll say we borrow right wing talking points. I'm like, can you please quote us quoting like right wing talking points? And look what she said. She's gonna say a lot of their hate is taught by their mothers. You remember the other lady just said her mother had a lot of hate in her. Now this lady, the one who said that about her mother, she's Jamaican. This lady right now about to talk, she's like Kenya. So how you 1,000 miles away in a whole different country, and both of y'all moms are teaching y'all to hate foundational Black Americans? That Kenyan woman mom ain't tell her to hate Jamaicans or Haitians. They said they got one thing in common. Their parents teach them to hate foundational Black Americans. This is serious.
These movies and TV shows with people shooting guns and like cussing.
Ignorance from our parents as well. Our parents say things to us in which, I can't speak for African Americans, but I know Africans, our parents say things to try to get us to stick with other Africans instead of branching out. And for that festered. So now it just lives on as we get older. So I agree with her in that aspect, but also another thing I feel like isn't talked about enough is the way our parents will talk about Black Americans. Because if we're being honest with ourselves, our parents are not respectful. They will say things to try to instill within us to divide away from them, but like being lazy or not as clean or stuff like that. And I feel like that also helps perpetuate the divide, which also needs to be acknowledged.
Okay, so growing up, I had this ideology from the media, from people around me, that African Americans were these ghetto, noisy, arrogant, aggressive, just criminal.
So I think this was the intent of my elders as they reminded me to stay away from akatas. Akata is a derogatory term for African Americans. I didn't understand why at the time, because I knew nothing about propaganda, media, or anything else we'll discuss today.
To get some Ozempic, and then maybe she can squeeze into something and we can get it popping. All right.
All right, Peppercorn.
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like I'm trying to set up a phone call later with the sister Monica Lockett that popped up yesterday, and I believe she's a Pan-Africanist. So I wanted to talk about, just casual conversation about Pan-Africanism, right? I want to talk about her views on Dr. Umar, what she think about him, his whole body of work, and also his school. And then I want to talk about Marcus Garvey, okay? What he did in America, right? Good or bad. And so I'm gonna try to arrange that maybe for today, but later on. We'll see. We'll see. Right now I gotta head out. Gotta run to Walmart. Family, I thank y'all. We should know what a tether is by now. This is like my 5th video about what is a tether. Okay, so appreciate all of y'all. Just make sure you like the video on the way out. All right, peace.